Hello, bonsoir, and welcome to Saturday Night Ligue Live, an extra special Get French Football news show as we live the final round of French top flight fixtures with you. Tonight, you can follow all the drama and the action with our panel and audio commentary team. I'm Nathan Staples, and this is my co-host, Christian Nuri.
Thanks, Nathan, and boy, is there a lot to play for tonight. OGC Nice and AS Monaco will battle for the final Champions League place. Saint-Etienne and Lille will grapple for the Europa League. And at the bottom, we have a three-pronged relegation showdown with two of Gazélec Ajaccio, Reims and Toulouse certain to go down before the evening is over, with just 1 point between all three of them before play begins. Now, let me introduce the rest of the panel this evening. We've got Ligue 1 Talking Points writer Paul Bathurst. He's here tonight. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Christian.
We've also got, from the GFFN news desk, we welcome Ed Thompson this evening. How are you doing, Ed?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Christian.
Excellent.
Oh, now let's look at some of tonight's encounters with just about 10 minutes to go until kick-off. We'll start with that game for Monaco against Montpellier this evening. It's a slightly changed side for the home side, who lost 6-1 at the weekend. Sebastian goal, and Ivan Cavallero comes into the team, as does Wagner Love up front. As for the visitors, it's a relatively unchanged side. Elise Shaqiri is coming to the side for this one, and Casimir Ninga starts in front. And it's an important one for Monaco, in all honesty. They need a victory tonight, as Christian mentioned, to ensure Champions League football and that third spot. If Nice do win and Monaco fail to, their superior goal difference will see them into that Champions League place. Another interesting game tonight is going to be at that bottom of the table, and especially between Angers and Toulouse. Paul, what can we expect from that one?
Well, you've got to expect an all-out battle from Toulouse, and surely going to go for it. You've got Ben Yedder and Martin Braithwaite up front. You've got to expect them to go for the game early on. Angers, little to play for. I'm expecting Toulouse to come out and really, really go for the throw in this one.
Elsewhere in Ligue 1 tonight, we have got a big game, the other big game, for that Champions League place. We mentioned earlier that Nice could potentially grab that third spot in Ligue 1 and that qualification spot for the Champions League if Monaco fail to win, and Nice must beat Guingamp. Guingamp, of course, very little to play for. Now, Guingamp line up as follows. We've got Lersel in goal, Kerbrat, Martins, Pereira, Sorbonne, Jacobson. In the midfield, Diallo, Sankare, Blas, Gires. And up front, that 4-4-2 again that Guingamp are going for tonight is Jimmy Briand, partners Melvert Erding. For OGC Nice in this crucial encounter, Johan Cardinal starts in goal. He's been fantastic all season for Les Aiglons. At the back four, we've got Ricardo Pereira and Bice. Paul Bice is, of course, partnered with Genevois at centre-back, with Jérémy Pied at right-back. Hatem Ben Arfa could be playing his final game from OGC Nice tonight. He starts in the midfield alongside that trio, which has become so well known this season in Ligue 1, Vincent Cosiello, Nampalys Mendy, and Jean-Michel Seri. Valère Germain partners Alassane Player up front.
Yes, and another interesting game that has relegation interest in it is Lorient versus Gazélec Ajaccio. The home side have Lecomte starting in net with Rafael Guerreiro, Lautaro, Rose, and Kofi complementing that defensive line. Baloguo, Ndong, Jouf, and Cabo in that midfield, with a strike partnership of Mukanjo and Giano. As for Ajaccio, they currently still have that forward line of Boutwaïb and Djokovic, as well as Tisimbubu in the forward line, and there's no place, it seems, for Gregory Pujol, who starts on the bench.
Now we head to Paris, where Paris Saint-Germain take on FC Nantes in what is Zlatan Ibrahimovic's final Ligue 1 match. Laurent Blanc has elected to put Nicolas Duché, the third-choice goalkeeper, in between the sticks this evening. Maxwell and Van der Wiel are the fullbacks. They could also be playing their final games for Paris Saint-Germain. Silva partners Marquinhos at the heart of that defense. In midfield, there's a rare start for Javier Pastore, who's joined by Thiago Motta and Adrien Rabiot. Partnering Ibrahimovic up front, you've got Di Maria and Lucas Moura on either wing. As for FC Nantes, it's also a fairly important game, or a momentous game for them. This will be Michel Dezacarian, the manager's final game in charge this evening. He's elected to put Maxime Dupé in goal. Leo Dubois and Sabali are the fullbacks. Vizcarrondo and Kofi Gigi make up that back four. In the defensive midfield, Remy Gomis partners Guillaume Gillet, who earlier this week found out that he was going to be on the reserve list for the Belgian national team at Euro 2016. The midfield attacking three is Lenjani, Bedoya, who looks like he's going to be leaving Les Canaries at the end of the season, and Adrien Thomason. Up front, we have the big man, Emiliano Sala. Now, I would like to mention here, Paris Saint-Germain have really gone all out to celebrate Zlatan's final league game. In the 10th minute of this game, Zlatan and everybody else are going to stop because the LFP have agreed to give a minute applause to pay homage to Zlatan, sort of strangely in the middle of this first half. So that's going to happen between the 10th and the 11th minute. As I'm speaking now, we've got Zlatan Ibrahimovic coming out by himself onto the pitch. He's got a guard of honor, and I tell you what, the atmosphere in Paris, Nathan, is fantastic this evening. I'm sure we'll keep an eye on that one as the games kick off.
I'm pretty sure you can be safe here that we won't stop on that 10th minute for Zlatan. Not even we stop for him. But another game, it's do or die time at Reims, and they take on Lyon. They make a few different changes to their side, but their defence stays the same with Placide, Fofana, Turan, Mondi, and Traore. Kankava, Deveau, and Diego make their defensive line with Charbonnier behind the attackers of Bangura and Grejon Kie getting a start. Obviously, there's no place for Nicolas Depreville, who was injured in midweek. Lyon have a couple of changes to their side, but the defence is pretty standard for them with Lopez, Yangambiwa and Umtiti in the centre with Bedimo and Raphael on the flanks. Midfield of Grenier, Connelon on Olivier Kemen coming in, and the forward line of Lacazette, Cornet and Fekir returning for what is his first start, I believe, for Lyon since his return from injury. Great to see him back on the field in a game that Reims must win to stay up, to stand any chance of staying in Ligue 1 this season. They need the 3 points.
A must-win game indeed over there. And now a big game for the Europa League. Saint-Etienne hosts Lille. Whichever side wins this one will take that final Europa League spot. Saint-Etienne could even pit Nice to a higher qualification spot for that Europa League if results go their way. So Saint-Etienne line up like this. Stéphane Ruffier, who narrowly missed out on the French national team squad for Euro 2016, starts in goal. At fullback, Assoue Koto is joined by Théophile Catherine. Centre-back partnership of Perrin, who would have been disappointed not to make that squad also, with Florentin Pogba. In the midfield, we've got René Coad and Jérémy Clément. In a rather classic Christophe Galtier lineup, three attacking midfielders, Benjamin Cornier, Kevin Monipaquet, and Nolan Roux, who's going to be starting on the right wing, with Neil Mopé, the former OGC Nice young prospect, up front for Les Verts this evening. And now, for the Lille side, Vincent Enyema starts in goal. Djibril Sidibe, who got a surprise call-up to the French national team's 30-man squad for the Euros, is included this evening. Renato Civelli and Marco Basha at centre-back, with Sébastien Concha at right-back. Lille line up in a 4-3-3 with Rio Mavuba, Amadou and Balmont making up that midfield troika. Marcos Lopez, who's on loan from Monaco, starts on the left wing. Amalfitano on the right. And Eder, who is on loan from Swansea, starts up top. We are ready to go pretty much everywhere around the ground. This is a huge evening for Ligue 1, Nathan, and I'll leave you to be in charge of that kickoff.
And thank you very much. We look forward to this final match day in Ligue 1. Whilst that title was decided back in March for Paris Saint-Germain, there is still plenty to play for this evening, as we just about ready for kickoff here in Monaco, Montpellier, the game that I will be watching this evening. But just to quickly go through a couple of the final games this evening, Troyes v Marseille is basically what might be was known as a dead rubber. Troyes in their final game in Ligue 1 before they're relegated. Start with Dreyer, Martial, Saunier, Caboe, Traore, Nive, Javier, Bensada, Azamoum, Jesse P, and Camus. No place there for. I've even slipped my mind. Monaco forward with Christian.
Lessina Traore?
No, Corentin Jean. That's it. Quentin Jean. He's not in
No
the.
worries,
in the
Nathan. It
stuff
is
at all.
overwhelming, and we have now seen every single match kick off around the grounds. We are live in all 10 games here for the final day of the Ligue 1 2015-2016 season. So, Paul, we mentioned earlier that this is a huge game for Toulouse, but they have destiny in their own hands. Do you think that plays a psychological advantage for them?
You would expect so. They're coming into this one. Since Duprat has come in to the management, confidence must be sky high, and they've picked up vital wins. They won 1-0 last time out thanks to a Trejo goal in the second half. And I fancy them today, and I think the psychological impact will get them through this game.
And what do you think about Angers? They've been very good at home this season, and I think you could argue that actually of all the sides who are threatened by relegation at the moment, Toulouse probably have the hardest game this evening.
I would certainly agree with that. This stadium in particular this season has been a bit of a fortress for Angers in Ligue 1. I do expect Toulouse to really go for it from the beginning, and if they can get that early goal.
We've had a goal, excuse me, Paul, sorry, we've had a goal. We've had a very early goal, and it's fallen to OGC Nice. OGC Nice have taken an early lead through Alassane Plea. That means that as it stands, OGC Nice will qualify for the Champions League. Plea runs over to Claude Puel. Virtually from kickoff is a fantastic run from Vincent Coziello. He pulls it out to Plea. Plea is out on the left-hand side. He cuts inside, and it's a fantastic inside-the-foot shot, straight outside the area. Beautiful goal. We'll be seeing that one for a long time, and the Nice fans who have travelled in their hundreds to go and watch this game are here, and fantastic goal.
Sorry to interrupt that, but the the complexion has changed almost instantly. Monaco have taken the lead against Montpellier. Just as you were speaking then, Christian, they broke down the right-hand side of the field and played a ball into the box. And I believe it's that man who's just, as I mentioned earlier, started. It's Ivan Cavallero, I believe, who's put in the ball. It's Helder Costa down that right hand. Oh no, it's Nabil Dirar down that right hand side, breaking behind the Montpellier back line, putting an excellent ball into the middle of the box, and it's an easy goal, and that puts them in the driving seat for that Champions League place. We know a win will guarantee Champions League football for Monaco.
Wow, well, look at that, look at that. We couldn't have asked for a quicker start. I tell you what, Monaco really wanted that early goal, and it's going to put them in really great stead because that will settle the nerves as well. They won't be looking over their shoulders so much for the rest of the game. Any early action, Ed, in Troyes, where obviously Marseille are there at the moment?
None to report so far, I have to say. It is, corners, Marseille piling on the early pressure, but Troyes have yet to break so far.
And,
well, there we go.
Ed, what about the game involving Gazélec Ajaccio this evening? They take on Lorient, who have been in poor form recently, and like we mentioned about Toulouse, it's also in Gazelec's hands. They need, obviously, at least a point to make something happen. How have they begun?
They've begun quite aggressively, I have to say. I do fancy them for this evening. I think that Lorient might be sitting on their laurels a little bit, having already secured Ligue 1 football for next season. And I think that Ajaccio could well sneak it, I have to say. I think that if I were a Toulouse fan, I would be feeling rather nervous before tonight. But yeah, no, a good start for Gazélec Ajaccio this evening.
Yeah, and it's been an interesting start already in Ligue 1, with a few games already kicking off with some goals. Paul, I wanted to talk about another game that you have covered this evening, and that's Reims versus Lyon. Now, obviously, Reims need that 3 points to stand any chance, and then results to go their way. Is there anything happening in that one?
They've actually started really well. They've just actually hit the woodwork as well. A free kick came in from the right side, in swung left-footed, and Gaëtan Charbonnet he's got his head on it, and it's a weird one. It's like a backwards header kind of thing for about 10 yards out, and he's hit the top of the crossbar. So he's gone close.
An exciting start for Reims there. Christian, your game. So Nice got off to that excellent start with a goal. Are they still piling on the pressure, knowing that a victory is really needed in that one?
I tell you what, it's an absolutely frantic atmosphere, Nathan, at the Stade Roudourou. End-to-end stuff so far. Hatem Ben Arfa, very uncharacteristically, a sort of air swung at a half volley from about 4 yards out. Really probably should have made that 2-0. In the other game that I'm also monitoring this evening, of course, Paris Saint-Germain are playing host to Nantes. And Nantes have actually had the better of the chances. They've started a little bit more awake than Paris Saint-Germain. And Youssef Sabali, who is, of course, on loan from Paris Saint-Germain at Nantes, had a good chance to maybe get a shot away, but in the end it was a sort of shot cross and the chance went away.
And it's an important game really for Zlatan's final match in Ligue. I just wanted to really quickly, while we have a moment, to talk about his impact in Ligue. Paul, what would be your memories of Zlatan in French football?
Goals, just simple goals. Audacity, arrogance, everything about the man. I think for me, he's put League One on the map these last couple of years. More people are interested because he's in this league, and I think everyone's going to be sad to see him go.
I also just wanted to get your thoughts on how PSG will sort of go forward without him at the helm, as so to say.
It's a tough one, really. Do they allow Cavani to take that central role? Do they look elsewhere in the market for a new striker? It's a tough one, but they'll certainly miss him. Irreplaceable man, I'd say, and PSG have a tough task in the summer to figure that one out.
It's going to be an interesting one as well.
Quickly, just in the Rennes Bastia game, Bastia are piling on the early pressure, having already struck the post once, and they look like a formidable force this evening, I have to say. They're already a good start from them.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately for Rennes a bit of a dead rubber after the last couple of games, sort of knocking them out of where they could have been from that higher position sort of in Europe, Ed. Is it really a disappointment for them that they didn't kick on for the last couple of games? I know that they're changing manager in the summer, but
yeah, I have to say I think they would be disappointed. I think the summer's time to really think about where they've gone wrong this season. But no, I think they can't be too disappointed with their season though. I still think they're in a fairly good place, but yeah, maybe not the ideal run of form running into the final few games in Ligue 1.
Paul, there's a big chance for us in Lyon, I've heard.
There's a big chance for Lyon. It's the away side.
All right.
Interplay down the left between Cornet and Lacazette. Lacazette has fed Fekir through an excellent run, and he's just put it just wide of the right-hand post. Keeper had no chance. Should have scored.
And the close one for Ryan said they must be piling the pressure on in that one, really, to try and get those goals. Is that a counter-attack that's caught them out in that one?
It was Lyon, the away side.
That's it. Yeah, sorry. I meant as Lyon caught them out that one. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry. Round overcommitted players, plenty this half, and actually Lyon are in again. It's Lacazette 1-on-1. No, it's away. It's a good save by the keeper, and Rams clear.
Rams are playing their cards closely to their chest. They might be pushing a little bit too hard. Yeah. So like I say, it's one of those ones where they know they need a win, but how much pressure can you put on to try and get results? Christian, head back to your game in Nice. How have they continued after how have Guingamp responded? After the goal.
Nathan, they haven't. They look a bit like they're on the beach already at the moment, I have to say. Very disappointing in terms of energy, and just Jimmy Briand now felling Jean-Michel Seri. Looks like we're going to get the first yellow card of this game. Oh, sorry, excuse me. It's going to Romain Genevois. Looks like there was some sort of off-the-ball collision that we didn't quite see, and the referees produced a strange yellow card there. But as I was saying, the majority of the possession...
Apologies, Christian. We have a goal in Marseille. Troyes have scored. Gamu, after a great through ball, slotted one past the keeper. 1-0 Troyes.
And an interesting development.
No, not one that many would have expected, I'm sure.
No, and a great way, hopefully, for Toulouse Troyes, apologies, to leave Ligue with beating a big club like Marseille. And just to update you on the Saint-Etienne Lille game, there's not been many chances so far. It's a unsurprisingly cagey affair between two very good defensive teams within Ligue 1 this season. They both have excellent records, and Lille could go above Saint-Etienne today if they win. Saint-Etienne with a win, should Nice lose against Guingamp, can go above them into 4th, but we'll keep an eye on that one. Paul, is there anything from the Toulouse-Angers game?
Nothing much, to be honest. Both sides are just feeling each other out at the minute. No big chances. There's really not much going on.
That sounds like a Ligue 1, doesn't it? I think.
Sorry, Nathan, I'm just going to cut across you here because it is now the 10th minute in Paris, and it is the whistle has gone here in order for Zlatan Ibrahimovic to receive 1 minute of non-stop applause. And I tell you what, it really is beautiful atmosphere. I was quite questioning this decision before the game started, but everybody is standing up. Of course, they handed out 40,000 free Zlatan Ibrahimovic face masks before this game kicked off, and it's slightly creepy actually looking at the stands. You've got about thousands of Zlatan Ibrahimovic's clapping and cheering him. He was clapping initially, he didn't look too emotional, but now I tell you what, he's looking a bit more reflective, and this is nice to see. A man who we rarely see emotion from looks like almost he's trying to hold back maybe even a tear here or two. But anyway, that has now come to an end, and Nantes have a free kick, which was poorly taken, and it looks like Maxwell will clear for Paris Saint-Germain. But a nice little homage there to a man who has undoubtedly potentially changed Ligue 1 forever.
I'm sorry to cut across, but there's a goal at Stade Jean Bouin.
Go ahead.
Angers have taken the lead against Toulouse.
Ooh.
I'm not sure who scored as of yet, but the ball's come back, and it's Ket Kiel Monophone, who smashed it into the roof of the net, and that was a tough one to say.
It's Billy Keo Fonfon. Is one of the best names in Ligue 1. I can never forget that name as long as I live. But a really interesting goal, as you mentioned there, Paul, that really affects that relegation fight, because Toulouse losing gives real hope for the likes of Gazalek and Reims to push forward. We'll see how that news filters in to those games heading forward. But there has been a chance in the Caen-Bordeaux game, a corner into the box was cleared off the line. Cheikh Diabate was in front of Remy Vercout, had a header, easy sort of chance, but it's landed straight on the head of the Caen defender who stood on the line and cleared away. It's a bit of a non-game, that one, unfortunately, for both sides, but Caen will be absolutely delighted with the season they've had. A win here would be an extra cherry on top of that cake, but Bordeaux, in the opposite way, are very disappointed with their season. But as I speak, there's a penalty here at Caen Bordeaux. It's a long ball forward towards Andy Delors, and he's just been pulled down. The Bordeaux players are protesting the decision. I'm getting a replay now. Ball over the top towards Delors. He's being held. He pulls it across the defender. He's put his arm across him. He's not allowing him to get into that central role. It's right near the penalty spot itself. And it's a penalty to Caen, who's standing up. I think it's Delors dusted himself off to take this one. We'll wait for him to...
As we wait for Delors to take that penalty, Ed, have we seen any sort of potential reaction from Gazalek there? As it stands, Gazalek Ajaccio, the side with the smallest budget in Ligue 1 this season, are going to be in the French top flight yet again.
I have to say, they didn't get the memo this evening. Lorient are all over them in the early stages of this game. They've had one clear-cut chance where they hit the post, but otherwise it has all been Lorient this evening. If they carry on playing like this, I fancy Lorient for the win, I have to say.
And it is a goal for Caen with that penalty, just to add to that top left-hand corner.
There's been a huge goal. There's been a huge goal in Reims. Reims have taken the lead against Lyon, I'm told. Aissa Mandi has scored. So as it stands now, gentlemen, in a quite incredible turn of events just in the first 15 minutes of Ligue 1, Reims are going to be safe. The team that nobody predicted could be safe tonight are now ahead of Lyon from a Aissa Mandi goal. Now,
Paul, do you want to talk us through that?
I can do. A set piece has come in off the left, free kick. It's come in. There's been a header, and in the second phase, Alessio Mandi has just smashed it past the keeper. No chance, 1-0 wrong.
Oh, and I will mention very quickly, to boost my own ego, Christian, that I did on our podcast on Monday evening predict that Reims would be the ones safe with a win. But after, I'll ignore me stroking my own ego about that. But there's still plenty of time to go yet. There's still plenty, with 15 minutes gone, there's still plenty of football left to play. But that is like you say, an absolutely massive goal at the bottom end of the table.
And we've had that penalty that you were talking about earlier, Nathan, conceded by Pablo, the Bordeaux defender, has been taken by Andy Delors, and he's gone and scored that. So Caen now lead Bordeaux by 1-0.
Yeah, and it was an excellent penalty. I did manage to catch it. Top left-hand corner gave the goalkeeper absolutely zero chance of reaching it. Right, so we'll go around the grounds a little bit now. We've had that moment of clarity. So let's go back to that Reims game with Paul, and how have Lyon reacted to that goal? The crowd must be bouncing at this point with a chance of staying up.
The atmosphere is absolutely electric. It's pretty much indescribable, to be honest. Lyon, they're passing the ball around as they do very well, but Reims, they're just breaking it up. There's plenty of fouls in there, and to be honest, Lyon haven't really had an answer so far.
Yeah, we questioned the decision a couple of weeks to get rid of Olivier Guégan, who was sacked a couple of weeks ago, just as they seemed to be hitting an odd patch of form, and we weren't sure if it was the right decision to get rid of a manager at such a late stage, whether it will make kind of an effect, but it looks like it might. But like you mentioned earlier, Ed, it looks like Lorient are all over Gazalec. Have they created anything to try and make a difference in that one?
Well, Gazalec have just had a great opportunity to take the lead, but some brilliant last-ditch defending from Lorient mean that it is still 0-0. However, there is a corner now which Djokovic is just about to take. It would be very interesting. Oh no, that's a terrible corner, too close to the keeper. But it certainly would be interesting if Gazalec did score, because that would really open the relegation battle right up.
Yeah, and it will be interesting, especially.
We've had a goal in Paris, and I will give you absolutely no money if you guess who scored it.
Tell me,
Zlatan Ibrahimovic has gone and put the ball in the back of the net. It's not pretty, but he doesn't care, and neither does the Parc des Princes. A classic Zlatan Ibrahimovic jump and punch in the air to mark this final Ligue 1 match for the man. The ball came in from Angel Di Maria on the right-hand side, and the cross was poor, the defending was even poorer, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic bundled it in. I think in the end he's bundled it in with the top of his thigh, but he won't care, as I said, and Paris Saint-Germain lead Nantes 1-0 at the Parc des Princes.
Yeah, and like you say, that sounds like it might be the fairy tale ending that Zlatan, although he might not name it a fairy tale ending, it might be the one that Zlatan deserves for all his exploits at Paris Saint-Germain. Just to update you of the Monaco-Montpellier game, there's not been too much action really since that goal went in. Monaco have settled into that classic style of keeping the ball. Montpellier have really struggled to take it off them, and really they're seeming like they're coasting. But there is a corner coming in now, and it's simply cleared. But again, it seems like Monaco are really in that driving seat. But Christian, I did want to go back to that Nice game. Are they still really the ones on top there?
Just before that, Nathan, important to mention here, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has now scored his 37th goal of the season, which then means, therefore, he equals the record of Bianchi. Now, if he can get another goal, he becomes Paris Saint-Germain's top goal scorer. But we've had a goal in Guingamp, and I tell you what, Les Aiglons on the Côte d'Azur will not be very happy, because Mevlut Erding has gone and equalised for the hosts. Just waiting for another look at that goal. He's a man who had moved, to Guingamp this January in order to get some playing time to potentially participate in this summer's Euro 2016 tournament. It's an unfortunate goal for Nice to concede. Romain Genevois gets caught in no man's land. Jimmy Briand comes down the left wing, and it's a very simple cross into the 6-yard area, which Mevlut Erding gets to first. Nice will be very disappointed with that. And again, that will do even more to make Hardim relax a little bit more on the touchline over in Monaco.
Yeah, and in fact, it might even do more if that carries on like that, and Guingamp can possibly get in front in that game to inspire Saint-Etienne, who can, like I say, go above Les Aiglons with a win. But it is Lille. Go ahead.
That really does come against the run of play. That's Guingamp's first real foray of any note, and Nice now really have it all to do. They're coming at Guingamp with fire here. Hatem Ben Arfa looking just outside the area. Finds Seri to Germain. Seri again, and it's a good last-ditch challenge by, I believe that was Sorbonne. So anyway, Nice, that was against the run of play, but I'm sure Nice will do everything they can to try and get their noses back in front.
Here
like
in
I mentioned,
Troyes versus Marseille, Marseille have just missed an almost open goal. I'm not sure who it was, but one of the Marseille strikers just hit the bar. It seems that Marseille are starting to finally find a reaction to that Troyes early goal.
yeah, and it's a strange one at Marseille because I do believe that Batshuayi is not in the starting lineup and is not on the bench either. So unfortunately for him, it doesn't look like he will have that final send off because it was reported that he's linked with a move away.
But Nathan, don't forget about the Coupe de France final next weekend, of course.
Yeah. If that might be the reason he's been eliminated from the squad tonight, but will be a shame for him to. Well, at least he scored on his final Ligue 1 match day, if that is so to be.
So let's go around the grounds here just to give a score update as we reach 20 minutes in these Ligue 1, 8 o'clock English time, 9 o'clock French time kickoffs. Angers lead Toulouse in a crucial relegation match 1-0 thanks to Billy Ketke from Fun. In a game that means very little for the table, Caen have taken the lead thanks to a penalty from Andy Delors. In Guingamp, it's 1-1. Nice, who took the lead very, very early on through Alassane Plea, have been pegged back by Erding, and this gives Saint-Etienne potentially an opportunity to get that automatic Europa League place.
Sorry, Christian, there's been a goal here in Bastia versus Rennes. Francois Camano has just headed in a brilliant cross straight into the box. Bastia lead 1-0 against Rennes, probably against the run of play. However, this game has been a bit of a non-starter from two mid-table teams. But yes, 1-0 here, Bastia versus Rennes.
Thank you very much for that, Ed. So as we were saying, Lorient 0-0 against Gazélec Ajaccio, although the hosts seem to be having more of the chances at the moment. Monaco lead Montpellier at home after an early Cavallero goal. Paris Saint-Germain on Ibrahimovic's send-off lead thanks to Zlatan himself, 1-0. Reims are currently staying up, something that not many people thought we would be saying this evening. They are beating Lyon, who are all but guaranteed that automatic Champions League place, having thumped Monaco 6-1 last weekend. SC Bastia have just taken the lead away at Rennes. Saint-Etienne 0, Lille 0, and Troyes, one of the worst sides ever in Ligue 1 in the modern era, are currently beating Marseille, who have had one of the worst seasons in their club's history, 1-0. That is the roundup for now.
And just to head to this Saint-Etienne Lille game, like you mentioned there, Christian, a win now for Saint-Etienne will put them into that fourth spot above Nice, which will be an automatic Europa League group stage place. It's been a bit of a dull game, but it does seem like Lille are on top. They've got most of the possession. They've had a few forays into the Saint-Etienne box, but they've yet to really trouble Ruffier. There's just been a shot here. It looks like from Esseric, it seems, just from about 30 yards out, but it's straight at the goalkeeper, Enyama. It's a bit of a non-starter, this one, unfortunately, as we might have expected from two very, very good defences. Let's go around and see how some of the other games are doing at the moment. Ed, you mentioned the goal at Bastia then. It's a bit of a... excuse me. It's come against. You say you came against a little bit of the run of plays. It'd be a real disappointment for Rennes if they went out with another defeat, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I have to say it would be. But neither team seem to be playing to their potential. I have to say, I think they're really thinking about the summer and going to the beach because this is a hardly inspiring game. I have to say, but yeah, no, it would be a shame for Rennes if they did lose this one. But yeah, no, I would say that they probably are just about having the best of the chances. However, as I said, there are very few chances to be had by either side. They seem to be happy to be resting on their laurels a little bit during this game, and yeah, as I say, waiting for summer so they can regroup and rebuild for Ligue 1 next season.
Paul, any reaction from Toulouse?
Not much at the minute. They've had the better of the possession, but it's actually Angers who've been creating the chances, and they have a free kick now about 35 yards central. I think we're going to see a shot.
We'll stay with you.
I'm not sure who's taking it. It comes in. Oh, it's miles over. It's a terrible effort, and play will resume.
And like you say, it's an interesting game in that bottom one. But I want to go to you, Christian. How have Nice reacted to that goal given against them against Guingamp?
Fairly well, although I think Guingamp is slightly more interested in the game now because they've scored. They really didn't look like they cared at the beginning of this one, Nathan, if I'm honest with you. We've seen a couple of Hatem Ben Arfa zigzaggy runs, that type of run, which will be so iconic from a Nice point of view, even if he does not remain next season. But no, now it's a fairly even game, I have to say, I'm afraid, for Nice, as they continue to hope that Monaco slip up against Montpellier to potentially grab a Champions League.
There's a chance in Monaco. Wagner Love's been slipped through behind the defence. It's just showing a quick replay now. He's done a lovely touch to get around the defender. He opens up his body to his left foot, but it's straight at the goalkeeper. It's a really disappointing the finish from the Brazilian. He does everything right with the first touch to go around the defender. Opens his body up to use the left foot, and he just doesn't curl it at all. It's almost like he's trying to nutmeg the goalkeeper. Disappointing. Could have been the second for Monaco.
The goal here at Lorient versus Ajaccio. Lorient have scored. It is 1-0 here. Benjamin Mukandro has got the early goal, well, comparatively early goal here. So it looks like Ajaccio are really going to be on the back foot here.
What was the goal like, Ed?
It was a chip ball through, and then on the half volley, stroked at home past the keeper. Brilliant. Actually, a really good finish there from Mukandro, I have to say. The Gazalec Ajaccio manager does not look too pleased at the moment, I have to say. I think he would be disappointed with how his team have started here.
Just on that Ibrahimovic goal, that now probably famous Ibrahimovic goal for Paris Saint-Germain, on such a special day for the Swedish international, we are getting confirmation now over several replays that he actually scores with his stomach. The arrogance of the man in Ligue 1 right until that final match there.
It's almost reminiscent of another arrogant player, as Mario Balotelli, who famously scored a goal with what might be claimed as his shoulder / chest, but another a slightly audacious goal from an audacious player that we'll wait and see and where he ends up in the summer. There's a chance at Saint-Etienne. Oh, it's a ball in from, I think is it Moni Paquier on that wing? He's popped it into the centre of the box. It's the striker's there. It's a really, really good chance. It's Cornier in the box, and it's pulled back to him. His left foot strike, first time, it's just wide of that left-hand post. So a real chance for Saint-Etienne to strike forward there for them.
As we might have predicted, Saint-Etienne-Lille, the only game at the moment without a goal, two very defensively solid sides, I think is the flattering way to put it.
There's been another chance here for Lorient. A flicked header through. Offered a brilliant opportunity for Lorient to score. However, they could not manage to double their lead. Unfortunately, really should have buried that home.
Let's go back to you, Paul, with Reims versus Lyon. They are, surprisingly, from kickoff, not many people would have thought Reims would have been in what will now be put as the driving seat, really. How have Lyon reacted, and have Reims held on?
To be honest, I'd say Lyon haven't reacted. It's all around. Bangora down the right, his pace is causing no end of problems. Lyon have actually made a substitution. Bakary Kone has come on for the injured Yanga and Biwa at centre-back. And there was actually an interesting challenge between Maxime Gonalon, the Lyon captain, and Charbonnet. Gonalon's went over the ball for me, and I would speculate it could have been more than a yellow card, which he picked up in the end.
Interesting events there, like you say, and red card for Lyon really would have put the cat amongst the pigeons and given Rats a real chance of making a difference there. Let's head to a game that we've not mentioned too much in Troyes Marseille. Ed, how is that one going since Troyes went in front?
Since Troyes went in front, you can sort of imagine Marseille. You okay there,
Sorry, I had to come across you there. Hatem Ben Arfa's just beaten about 4 Guingamp players. He jinks right, he jinks left, then opens up his body, hits a left-footed shot inside the area, and it's a fantastic save from Guingamp goalkeeper Lersul. But that would have been some fantastic parting Hatem Ben Arfa magic for Nice there. Sorry, back to Troyes Marseille.
There's a penalty.
Well, no, not back to the one.
Let's go to Paul.
There's a penalty at Angers, and it's gone to the away side to lose.
Ooh. So
Well.
He's actually taken it. I've been a bit slow here, but it's Martin Braithwaite. I don't know why Ben Yedder's not taking it. He's gone for a dink and he's missed it. He's gone for the Panenka and he's put it over the bar.
Dear, oh dear.
Terrible decision. And I don't know what his manager thinks of that one, but he's got his head in his hands, Braithwaite, and that's inexcusable for me.
There's been a penalty at Monaco, from what I understand.
Yes, just happened now. Yeah, Wagnerlov's been fouled in the box, and it's a penalty to Monaco. Hilton is still arguing with Wagnerlov about the challenge. It looked like a clear penalty to me. Dived in whilst Wagnerlov had the ball at his feet. He may have got a piece of the ball, but at the same time, he's had to get through Wagnerlov to get there. It's Fabinho who will be taking the penalty. He's just taking his steps back now. Let's see if he puts this one away. This will be an absolutely massive goal for the Principality club as they chase Champions League football. And it's straight down the middle. Fabinho has scored. Monaco 2-0 up. And that's maybe a Champions League football in the Principality again next season.
Although, admittedly, it would be quite characteristic of Monaco if they were to somehow throw this away now. Especially this season. As I look at a replay here at Paris Saint-Germain against Nantes, Zlatan Ibrahimovic attempted one of his now infamous sort of kung fu kick shots after a good ball in from Lucas Moura, but it forced a fantastic save from Nantes goalkeeper Maxime Dupé.
Let's go back round the grounds, and let's go back to Paul with that chipped penalty from Martin Braithwaite. It was really agonisingly poor from the Danish international, who's been in top form. That is a massive miss for Toulouse, isn't it?
I just can't understand why you opt for that decision when in such a key game. And it's the difference between League One and League Two, unfortunately. But I don't understand why Ben Yedder hasn't taken the spot kick like he has done for the majority of the season. He's the top scorer, and surely you expect the main man to step up there and buy your side an equaliser.
It's very difficult to argue with that, Paul, really. And it's a shame because Martin Braithwaite, I've mentioned on the podcast previously that he's had a reasonably good season, really, from his standards, especially because on the goal scoring front. But what a massive moment that might be.
It's a big chance. Braithwaite, he's missed again. A cross has come in from the right side, and he's 6 yards out. It's a free header, and he heads it into the floor, and the keeper just palms it away. It's straight at the goal. Unbelievable. And into my other game at Rome, there's another goal. It's 2-0 to the home side.
Okay, yeah. If you can, I'm assuming you're probably waiting for the replay on that one, Paul. So, can you give us a little bit more?
It's a breakaway. It's 3-on-1. They work it really well to this left side, and I'm not sure it's a left-footed strike. It's gone under the keeper.
Diego, no?
Diego, correct. Diego has fired it under Lopez, and it's a fantastic first half for Rom. And you've got to say they're in the driver's seat now.
Now this is truly incredible. Nobody expected anything from Reims tonight against a Lyon team that have been in absolutely fantastic form in the second half of this season, and somehow they were in terrible form as well, Reims, coming into this game. We've mentioned, of course, Guingamp mysteriously being fired a couple games before the end of the season, but what a turnaround of events for Reims, and Toulouse now really need to kick into gear at Angers if they're going to stand any chance of staying up.
Well, you mentioned it perfectly, Christian. Who would have guessed that Reims would have the chance of staying up and the other two to be losing as well in their respective games? It's a real opportunity for them now if they can hold on to that win. With Lyon seemingly already settled in that second position, they're not too worried about Monaco scoring 20 goals on them this evening, it seems. So it'll be interesting to see how that continues for us. Let's go back to their Nice game with you, Christian. Are they still pushing for that goal against Guingamp to try and get back into this race?
Yeah, we're coming up to the 35th minute here, Nathan, and it's become much more physical in the last 15 minutes. Free kicks all over the place, and the latest one is coming to Thibaut Giresse for Guingamp. He floats it in. It's a good ball in, a knockdown from Brillant, but eventually Nice managed to clear. And Claude Puel's not going to be particularly happy at all with how the half has sort of transformed, especially after 15 minutes of dominance from Nice. Ed, let's go to you in Lorient. Has there been any form of reaction from Gazalec?
There has indeed. Gazalec is starting to play more football, so to speak. They're starting to find their rhythm, passing well between players, but no clear-cut opportunities, really, I have to say. But it's become more even from what was at the beginning a Lorient team versus the unending Lorient onslaught.
Is there any individual standing out? Any individual standing out for you at the moment?
I have to say there aren't any individuals standing out massively. It's a very feisty affair here in Lorient. Players seem to be going down and getting booked left, right, and centre. John Chibumbo of Ajaccio has just gone down injured, but seems to get up fairly quickly as soon as the referee prompted him to. I think that it's just a fairly cagey affair. But Gazalec do have a free kick on the left side of the box, so this could provide an opportunity for a chance.
We'll stay with you. We'll stay with you there. Or maybe not.
Yeah, anyway, taking a while to get the free kick.
I will just very quickly mention that since Monaco have gone a second goal in front, it has really
terrible free kick. Sorry, didn't even beat the first man. Terrible free kick. That sort of form is the reason why they're in 18th, I have to say.
Yeah.
Absolutely damning.
Yeah. But here for the Troyes Marseille game, just while I was just catching up from before, I really don't know how Marseille have not equalised. It has been all Marseille. They're corner after corner, free kick after free kick. They've got another corner at the moment. And yeah, Troyes have really just been terrible, but hanging on by the skin of their teeth. I really don't understand how. Maybe Marseille are lacking that cutting edge, which is probably the reason why they have not had a brilliant season.
And like you mentioned there, Ed, it's perfect to say that Marseille quietly haven't had the best of seasons, let's be honest. And this might be the shame extra on top of their fans that are already a little bit disgruntled, might be the best way to put it. But like I was mentioning, it's Monaco coasting here, really, against Montpellier now. It's gotten a little bit feisty from the Montpellier players. They seem to be snatching at the opposition because they're keeping the ball very well. They're getting players behind the ball when Montpellier get it in their possession, and they can't really make any inwards on them. I think, Christian, that this one might be already over before it's even begun.
Be careful, Nathan. This is Ligue 1. Anything can happen. Next thing you know, Wagner Love is sent off, and the race is wide open. As I speak, there's been a big chance for Nice, and a shout for a penalty, actually. Alassane Plea has a shot inside the area, and Jeremy Sorbon appears to handle the ball as he tries to block it. The referee is not interested, and Nice will have a corner. But it's been much tougher work for Nice since Guingamp equalised through Mevlut Erding.
Here in Lorient, Gazalec, Ajaccio, Benjamin Mukanjo has just been substituted because of an injury. I'm not entirely sure what's happened to him, but will be a blow for them seeing one of their main guys coming off so early in the game.
And replaced there by Maxime Barthalmé, I believe.
Yes. Sorry, that was indeed the case.
And it looks like I'm just watching in Caen Bordeaux. It looks as if Pablo has a hamstring injury. He's coming off, and replacing him is Maloun, who's coming on to replace him. It's been a bit of a non-starter this game since that goal. There's not really been much. It's been a bit cagey. They've all seemed like they're ready for their holidays, it seems. Both of those teams not really playing for much at the end of the season, really. Paul, let's go back to that game in Reims versus Lyon. Like we mentioned, they're really in the driving seat. Are they putting the pressure for a third, or are they holding on to what they have?
There's no stopping this Reims side at the minute. They're going for it full blast. Las Bangora has been by far the best player on the pitch, causing no end of problems to Bedimo, the left back of Lyon. And Kie has just gone really close to extending that lead. And decent save by Lopez.
Paul, I want to know about
goal disallowed here in Marseille 3. Sorry, Marseille were through on goal. However, their main striker, I'm not sure which one it was, but was deemed to be offside. I think that may end up being a fairly controversial decision. Well, fairly controversial decision, yeah. But still 1-0 here, Troyes, Marseille.
Paul, what about Toulouse? We've been talking about Toulouse for weeks now, having an incredible fighting spirit. People like Oscar Trejo, Wissam Ben Yedder, really coming to the fore at the right time. Is that fire completely expunged at the moment?
To be honest, I think they're just a bit shell-shocked of the last 10 minutes with Braithwaite missing that penalty.
Just to interrupt, there's a penalty at Saint-Etienne, Lille, so it's a third penalty of the evening, and they're just about to set up for it. And Adair is ready to take it. If you want to carry on, he is taking a bit of a moment to settle.
Just as I was saying, since that penalty, I think they're a bit shell-shocked, and with 4 minutes to go till half-time, I think the focus right now will just be getting at the break 1-0 down and regroup.
We're just waiting for Adair to take this penalty for Lille. Like I say, if they win, they will go above Saint-Etienne into 5th position. He runs up, and it's slotted away. Stéphane Ruffier did dive the right way. He's not even celebrating. He's pulling up his socks. That's just how much it seems to mean to him.
Is he?
The goal that was ruled as offside was a terrible decision from the linesman. He was at least a foot onside when the ball was played. I'm not entirely sure what was happening there. But that goal should not have been ruled out. It should be 1-1. However, it is still 1-0 here, Troyes versus Marseille.
Stephen Fletcher there for Marseille, who probably should have seen that goal ruled in rather than ruled out. Nathan, what I want to know about that Eder penalty was he pulling his socks up, or was he getting the glove out to do his Michael Jackson celebration?
If he was pulling that glove out for a Michael Jackson celebration, it decided not to show you. He didn't do it quick enough, and he stayed on the penalty spot, pulling his socks up, it seemed. But he may have done it. The cameras decided not to show me, unfortunately, because I would have liked to have seen it again. It's been a popular celebration for the Portuguese man on loan from Swansea, who's really been a startling success. We mentioned on our transfer podcast, Christian, that it seemed like Lille were just picking at strings and trying to get any striker that was available. But what an excellent signing that's actually turned out to be for the club.
Indeed, and there's been talk actually this week from the man himself, Eder, that he would be happy to stay at Lille next season. Moving on to Guingamp, Nice, Valère Germain's just had a very good chance. The ball came at him very quickly. He turned on a penny and he sprayed a right-footed shot just slightly wide. But Nice really trying to push with about 3 minutes left in this half.
Just to switch little gears a moment, because one game that doesn't seem to be very interesting is that Reims Bastia game. Has there been anything of note in the last couple of minutes, Ed?
I have to say there's not been anything major of note. There have been a yellow cards and a few disciplinary issues.
We've had a goal. We've had a goal at the Parc des Princes. Lucas Moura has doubled Paris Saint-Germain's lead. He actually had a very good chance about 90 seconds ago. And this goal pretty much sees him drift in from the left-hand side and slowly but very calmly stroke the ball past Dupé. But Nantes gave a good fight early on. It forced Duché to really give some saves and really not be on holiday quite yet, or in Trapp's case, probably in the Euro 2016 squad for Germany. But a lovely goal for Lucas Moura, who just today was announced via his agent is unhappy at Paris Saint-Germain with the lack of playing time. So hopefully that will go some way to settling him down.
Yeah, and that's a good goal for him to score. I mean, he's been up and down this season again, Lucas, but he is a talented player, as you
Sorry,
can
Nathan,
see.
sorry, I've had another goal. It's all going crazy here. And we've had another goal, and OGC Nice have taken the lead yet again. And so maybe this makes it a little bit interesting if Montpellier can come up with some sort of unlikely comeback. The goal, I believe, has come from Paul Bice. It's across from Jean-Michel Seri. Actually, no, sorry. Jean-Michel Seri has hit a volley from the outside the area. It takes a horrible deflection, absolutely horrible deflection of, I believe it is Kerbrat, and Lussel can't do anything about it, and Nice have retaken the lead. As I was saying, Nathan, they really had pushed Nice in these final few minutes of the half, and that has come in the form of a reward, in the form of a goal, and Claude Puel punches the air in delight.
And just as you were speaking then, Lille almost came close to making it 2-0 at the start. Geoffrey Guichard. Eder again put through, I believe it was Belmont who put him through, behind the defence, straight through the middle. Yes, it was Belmont, straight through the middle of the defence. One-on-one with Ruffier, slightly to the right. a French goalkeeper closes the angle. Eder tries to slot it to his left, and Ruffier balances it out for a corner that comes to nothing. And it's a half-time on most of the games that I've got coming up. Saint-Etienne, Lille are going off, and Monaco, Montpellier has finished. Is there anyone still playing at the moment? Do you want to shout up?
There are 3 minutes of stoppage time here in the Gazélec-Ajaccio-Lorient game. That's sort of an indicator of how feisty this affair has been. Gazélec is starting to get a few more half chances, I have to say, but they're yet to have many clear-cut chances, I have to say. And having just said that, Lorient have gone on the offensive, and a good defensive header there from Gazélec means that it's gone out for a throw-in when it could have potentially been a lot worse. He would have been through on goal had that ball gone through. But no, it's half-time here in the Troyes-Marseille game. Troyes will be very happy going in there with a lead 1-0 against Marseille. Something at the beginning of the season I think many people would have struggled to have believed.
I think that's a fact that's not lost on us at all. Just
Just
very
time as well in the Bastiaren game as well.
Paul, just before we start doing a quick roundup of the results, has Toulouse reacted at all to Angers at the moment? It seemed like the home side were having most of the chances, although Toulouse will be still seething that Martin Braithwaite hasn't at least had one goal in this one.
Well, I'd certainly say that Braithwaite's in for a bit of a rude awakening when he gets in that dressing room. But Toulouse, they haven't really responded since. They'll be happy with the half-time break, and something has to happen for them in the second half. But I would like to go across to my Lyon game, and they hit the crossbar, Lyon, just 2 minutes ago, and it would have been a late contender for goal of the season. 35-yard free kick, Clément Glenier strikes it with the Ronaldo-esque kind of style. It dipped 35 yards out and it smashed the crossbar. We've actually seen Reims lodge a counter-attack, 3-on-2, and Bangora picked the wrong pass, intercepted vitally by Umtiti. Half-time in both games.
Yeah, it does seem like half-time's coming across on most of the games, so I will give a very...
One second, Nathan, just before you give that roundup of results, a statistic coming from Opta, which I think is of note, especially for the Toulouse game. Martin Braithwaite has created himself 26 quote-unquote big chances in Ligue 1 this season against the goalkeeper 1v1 or a penalty, for example, and he has scored just 7 of those. 26, and he scored just 7 of those. So perhaps not as surprising a turn of events as we might have thought during that match. But anyway, back to you, Nathan, for the classified results at halftime in this final evening of Ligue 1 action for the 2015-2016 season.
It is halftime here at the Lorient Gazélec game. Gazélec had a good free kick just on the right side of the box with a clear-cut opportunity. However, they could not find the back of the net, which was a shame.
And that
it goes in at 1-0 still.
Yeah, so that confirms that all the games are at half-time now. We'll go through them. So Angers are leading 1-0 against Toulouse at home with a Billy Keofon goal and also a missed penalty from Martin Braithwaite as he attempted the Panenka, and it went straight over the bar. Caen are leading 1-0 at Bordeaux thanks to a Andy Delors penalty. Guingamp are losing 2-1 against Nice. Nice went ahead originally through Alassane Player very early on. Melville Erdning reduced the arrears and equalled the scores before Jean-Michel Seri scored just before half-time. Lorient are 1-0 up against Gazélec-Ajaccio, who need to win to stay up. Benjamin Mukanjo with the goal. Monaco are 2-0 up. That will see them into the Champions League next season. Goals from Ivan Cavallero and a penalty from Fabinho gives them the lead. Paris Saint-Germain in Zlatan Ibrahimovic's last game for the club are winning 2-0 against Nantes. The Swede has scored the first goal with his stomach, and Lucas Moura scored just before half-time to give the champions a comfortable lead. Reims are surprise leaders against Lyon with a 2-0 goal. Goals from Mondi and Diego have given them the real lift that puts them outside of the drop zone as it stands. Bastia are winning 1-0 against Rennes. Francois Camano with a header that put the away side in the lead. Lille are in front against Saint-Etienne, thanks to an Eder goal from a penalty spot, and also winning 1-0, thanks to Fabien Camus against Marseille.
So as it stands, therefore, the permutations from this final round of fixtures in Ligue 1 this evening. Monaco will grab that final Champions League spot. They're currently beating Montpellier, as Nathan has said, 2-0. Lille, with that goal and that lead against Saint-Etienne, will take that final Europa League spot from Saint-Etienne. Lille now on 60 points, Saint-Etienne on 58. Down at the bottom of the table, it is Stade de Reims who currently are safe from the relegation. They are now on 39 points thanks to this surprising lead they have over Lyon. Toulouse and Gazélec Ajaccio are both losing and on 37 points. So, Nathan, Toulouse and Gazélec have got it all to do in this second half. What's your feeling? Are you going to back that prediction that you made earlier this week that Reims would stay up?
I always stick with my predictions. So I'm happy that I may have been the only person insane enough to think that Reims might be able to do it. But it's a fantastic result for them so far against a Lyon side who seem to have settled that they're finishing 6th, although they have created a number of chances. Toulouse and Gazélec really need to pull their finger out. I mean, Toulouse, like Paul has mentioned, have had a couple of really good chances and should really have at least equalised against Angers. Let's go around some of the games that have happened while we have a chance to catch our breath at half time. Let's go to you first, Ed, and the Lorient-Gazélec game. Ajaccio, are they doing enough really in this one to push on and try and stave off relegation?
Well, I have to say they started poorly. They didn't seem really to have their heads in the game, and I think the occasion maybe got to them a little bit. But the last 20 minutes or so, it became much more even, and they started to have some really good chances. And as I said, there was that free kick just on the right side of the penalty area that was whipped in and almost went into the back of the net. So the chances are coming for them, but I have to say they do well to overturn a 1-goal deficit to then come out on top and win. But yeah, no, it's been a very good game, but it was a very, very good finish by Lorient to take the lead in the first place. But it'll be an interesting one, I have to say.
Christian, let's talk about Nice Guingamp. I mean, it looked like against the run of play, Guingamp got that equaliser, but that goal just before half time should give Nice some impetus to really kick on in the second half.
I'm not sure, Nathan. I don't think this one is sewn up for Nice by any stretch of the imagination. Guingamp had a bit of a slow start, but then came into the game very well. Thanks to that Erding goal, they caught Romain Genevois, the Nice centre-back, a bit napping, really. And they've now shown much more physicality in the second half of the first half. Of course, Nice are the technically better side. No one's going to deny that. No one would have denied that before this game either. But I don't think this is sewn up for Nice. They just now need to hope that results go differently than they are currently going, i.e. Monaco somehow drop that win that they currently have in their hands at the moment against Montpellier. A couple of statistics in the other game, Nathan, while you're with me. Paris Saint-Germain, of course, beating Nantes 2-0. With that second Lucas Moura goal, PSG become only the 4th Ligue 1 team to score 100 goals in a Ligue 1 season, and Angel Di Maria with the assist for both players, Zlatan and Moura, in this first half, and that makes him the top assist maker in the history of Ligue 1. So quite an achievement for the Argentinian ahead of Copa America, etc.
Yeah, it's an excellent final result for what has been really an excellent season for Paris Saint-Germain. Just on the game that I've been covering at Monaco-Montpellier, it's been really too easy for Monaco this evening. It's been Montpellier haven't quite put up the resistance that we may thought with the form going in. 4 straight wins, they've been in impressive form. But Monaco in that indifferent form after that 6-1 defeat to Lyon at the weekend, they've really reacted very well to come out straight away, grab a quick goal, get a penalty that was rightfully awarded, and in all honesty, it doesn't look like Montpellier are going to do much to affect those Champions League places that Nice desperately need them to do. But then again, we never know Monaco this season. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns around a little bit. Paul, I wanted to chat about the Reims game, which is probably one of the more exciting ones this evening. How have they been in that first half? They've really put on the pressure on everyone else in that relegation battle.
They've truly been impressive. Like most of us have mentioned, just did not expect them to come out at Lyon, and they've dominated the game. Actually, the threat is coming from the counter-attack. As I mentioned, Las Bangura is at the heart of everything good for them at the minute. Lyon are really struggling to handle them, and I would not be surprised if Reims take a 3-goal lead in this one.
I have to say, one statistic coming in from the Marseille-Troyes game, which really for me compounds Marseille's issue this season, is they've had 8 shots on target. No, 8 shots, sorry, but 0 of which have been on target. And given the likely departure of Michi this summer, you really have to wonder, is this form actually going to carry on into next season because they seemingly just can't hit the target. And against a team like Troyes, you really should be at least forcing their keeper into a few saves. But no, it's been interesting here, I have to say.
And Ed, what about that third game? You've got the one that no one seems to really care about, Rennes against Bastia. Bastia with a rare away lead going into half-time.
Yeah, it's been, I have to say, it's not been one of the best games I've ever seen. However, there have been chances at both ends. I would say that a 1-0 scoreline is potentially unfair on Rennes, but Bastia have created some good opportunities, and 1-0, yeah, I'd say it reflects, maybe it reflects probably fairly, if not maybe a little bit unfairly, on Rennes' first half. But no, it has not. It hasn't set the world on fire, I have to say.
And how's Ousmane Dembele doing? His final game, of course, for Rennes after the announcement that he will be joining Borussia Dortmund next season.
He hasn't been as high profile as I thought he would have been, I have to say. I mean, that transfer, he is certainly one of the hottest properties in Europe at the moment, and talks of that deal rising from 15 million all the way up to 52, including bonuses, if he hits his targets with Dembele, with Dortmund, sorry. But yeah, no, he's been quieter than I would have maybe imagined before the game. But no, certainly a coup for Borussia Dortmund signing him this week, having just lost Hummels to Bayern Munich.
Paul, let's talk about Angers-Toulouse, and I know that many of us have had hands in our heads for Martin Braithwaite's performance, but how has Wissam Ben Yedder done in what might be his will most likely be his final game with Toulouse?
I was just actually thinking about Wissam Ben Yedder, and to be honest, he's really not been involved in anything good from Toulouse. He's had a couple of touches in the middle of the park. He's really been on the periphery of this game, and he needs to step it up in the second half. Who's going to help his side get back into this one. Yeah,
because he's a really key player for that club. But against a team like Angers, who really impressed in the first half of the season especially, is it been a real solid defensive display from them again? And can you see them seeing this one out?
It's a tough one to say, really. I would say Toulouse. Obviously, they've had the penalty, but they have had other chances, and Martin Braithwaite did have a header from 6 yards out he should have buried, and it just comes back to that stat that Christian mentioned about his finishing of the key opportunities he gets. And maybe in the second half, if one of them can fall to Ben Yedder, maybe Toulouse can get back into this one.
It might make the difference in that one. Just to mention a couple of final games here, the Caen match has really quieted down since that penalty. There was a couple of chances for both sides. Couple cleared off the line from Bordeaux's point of view, but it does look like one of those playground affairs where they're trying to keep fit, ready, some of them for the Euros, they hope at least, and some ready for their summer holidays. For Lille and Saint-Etienne, it's been mostly Lille, especially in the second half of the first half. For that final 15 minutes especially, they were pushing on, looking for goals. They know that a win in that game will push them above Saint-Etienne and into that Europa League spot that won't rely on potentially what happens in the Coupe de France. So a special result for them as teams start to come out again for the second half, ready for what hopes to be another enthralling half of Ligue 1 football.
Yes, buckle up. The last second half of Ligue 1 this season. Still so much on the line, especially in the relegation zone. Can Saint-Etienne get back against Lille? Can Monaco mess up against Montpellier? Will there be a twist? Can Gazalec somehow get back in that game against Lorient? Can Reims go and score another 2? Why not? Anything can happen. It's the final second half of the Ligue 1 2015-16 season, and we are underway around the grounds.
There is a very early, promising-looking free kick for Rennes here in the Rennes-Bastia game. Mendes was brought down very abruptly, and just on the right-hand side of the penalty area, we're just about to see that free kick. It's looking very promising, I have to say. This could be an equaliser coming up.
We'll stay with you because it's early on in the second half.
Brilliant save, diving down, the Bastia keeper diving down low to his left after a Fadlu header. I'm not entirely sure how he kept that out or how he didn't make Didier Deschamps' Euro 2016 selection after that save. That is absolute quality.
That's a bit of an exaggeration.
No, that is a quality save. He really should have. They really should have equalised. I'm not entirely sure how they didn't.
Nathan, any chance of a Montpellier early foray to make that Monaco game interesting?
No, it's gone back to type again. It's even gone all the way back to Subasic. The kickoff happened. Monaco kept the ball pretty much since that moment, and although, as I say, that Fabinho chests the ball out for a throw-in for Montpellier, it's that classic Monaco at the moment of let's sit on to what we've got. We've got a usually good, solid defensive base if you ignore the 6-1 hammering they got last weekend. But they've settled into that usual rhythm, and it's going to be difficult to see Montpellier go anywhere from that. Let's go around a little bit more, and we'll head to you, Paul, in that important game between Angers and Toulouse. How have they begun the second half?
It's actually only 20 seconds in, Nathan, at the minute.
Go for anything in Ramsey?
In Ramsey, the smoke bombs were thrown onto the pitch from the Ram supporters. Like I mentioned, they've got a bit of electric atmosphere going on there, and I currently can't see the Lyon goalkeeper. He's hidden behind some smoke. But players continuing, and Reims have the ball, and they're about to cross it in. No, cleared well, but for the best, because I'm not having a keeper could see that ball.
Yeah, those fans, I tell you what, they might be regretting all that if all of a sudden Toulouse or Gazalec turn it around. It could be a bit embarrassing for the Reims faithful, Paul.
Yes, I completely agree with that. But they are looking okay at the minute, Reims, and the way Toulouse are playing, they have not played too well in the second half so far, despite it only being 90 seconds in. They haven't touched the ball, and at the minute, Reims are looking solid.
Just a potentially dangerous free kick here at Monaco Montpellier, just outside of the box to the left. It's a good crossing opportunity for, I believe it's Jonas Martin bringing the ball in. He's played it low, and it's cleared by Raji. It's not the best of strikes. He's in a lot of space when it's pulled back. I can't quite tell. It might be Boudabou's who it's pulled back to, but it's cleared.
Ed, let's go to Lorient. Has Gazalec come out of those starting blocks fast and pacey in this second half?
They have indeed. They've started very well. They've just volleyed. Who was that? That was Boutaib. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce that name. He's just volleyed one just over the bar after a brilliant opportunity, but they've certainly come out of the blocks quickly, really putting pressure on Lorient in the early stages of the second half.
So, of course, as it stands, a draw for either Toulouse or Gazalec Ajaccio would not be enough because Reims are on 39 points and Toulouse and Gazalec Ajaccio are both on 37. So both sides need to at least, effectively they need to win. Nathan, look at this.
Yeah.
I can't believe you predicted the Reims win against Lyon. It's looking like an absolute dream.
I'm just disappointed I didn't put money on it at the moment, but don't call me Nostradamus yet. There's still plenty of time left. I do want to go back to the game at PSG, Christian, with you. Is there anything more Zlatan-esque happening with the game? Is he still getting well involved in the matchup with his final game?
Well, Nathan, as you can expect, it's a bit of a fanfare atmosphere here at the Parc des Princes in what has been a very entertaining game in the main. Both sides having good opportunities. The latest has fallen to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who attempted to shoot from just inside the area, and Dupé got down very quickly and very well in order to stop that from happening. But I don't see Nantes coming back. Their Zakarian, is cutting a rather disenchanted figure on that touchline, as if this is not exactly the send-off that he wanted. But then again, when you go to the Parc des Princes and you're not Paris Saint-Germain, what are you really expecting to achieve?
And it's a difficult place even for European teams to head to, as we've seen all season long. Let's go back to you, Paul. A little bit more time's passed in that Angers-Toulouse game. Is there anything happening in there? Have Toulouse had any kind of reaction coming out of the second half?
There's been a big chance for the away side in this one, and it came from a set piece. The ball's come in, and it's Martin Braithwaite again on the end of it, and this time he does really well. He gets his head on it. It's a great save by Letellier, and Toulouse showing signs that the fight may not be out of them. Oh my word, what a goal! It's in my other game at Reims, a 3-0 ahead. And this is an absolute screamer of a goal. I'm going to have to wait for a replay on this. I'm not sure who it is, but it's come from the left side. It must be 30 yards out. It's not parallel with the box, and it's just gone straight into the top corner. And I urge everybody to watch this goal if they get a chance, because it is a screamer. It's number 15. Who's that?
I believe that might be Charbonnier, maybe, I think. 15.
It's Thuram.
Number 10, Charbonnier.
No, is it? I'm seeing Attila Thuram here.
Or might be. I will just double check.
Yes, correct. Number 15. Number 15, Thuram. I mean, I didn't expect it. He's a left back, and he's fired this. And honestly, possible goal of the contender season. Possible goal of the season contender there in the last match day. 3-0.
I'm going to go to Ed. I think there's been a goal in the Rennes-Bastia game, Ed.
There has indeed. Francois Camenot tackled a Rennes defender in the box, cut on the inside and smashed home a shot on his right foot straight past the Rennes keeper. A deserved 2-goal lead here. Bastia have started very well in the second half.
In the meantime, we're going to head to Paris Saint-Germain. We've got Zlatan Ibrahimovic lining up one of his infamous free kicks just outside the area. Quite an emotional moment if you're a Paris Saint-Germain fan, which I am not. But he's done this so many times to such great effect. We'll see what comes of it. The referee Geffredo is getting a little bit pernickety with the wall. Zlatan takes one breath and another. And then we've got the fantastically quick run-up, and oh, what a fantastic save by Dupé, but he gets the rebound, and it's Marquinhos for 3-0. Nathan, Marquinhos is delighted with that. Zlatan, a little bit more muted. He would have liked that to go straight in, but Dupé did fantastically well to get down low on his right-hand side in order to prevent Zlatan from scoring directly, but Marquinhos was quickest to react, and Marquinhos is the man who gets that third goal. It's now Paris Saint-Germain 3, Nantes 0.
Yes, and surprise, surprise, Zlatan's muted celebration because he wasn't the one scoring. That's not a surprise at all. But who would have expected this, in all honesty, that Reims would be 3-0 up against Lyon in such an important game that they needed to win and hoped other results would go their way? It looks like, at the moment, they are doing what many people thought might have been impossible with the form that they were running in and the teams their opponents were facing. Just to go back to another important game this evening in Lille and Saint-Etienne, and it's following a similar rhythm to that ending of the second half. Lille are the team on top. Saint-Etienne are trying a little bit more on the counter-attack, but they're sitting a little bit too deeply with their two defensive-style midfielders. It's restricting them, really, from pushing on and trying to get an extra goal in this one, but we'll keep an eye on that one as it progresses.
Of course, Marquinhos' birthday today, so that's the perfect present for him. What a day for Paris Saint-Germain, what a day for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and what a day for Marquinhos. Let's head to Lorient again, Ed. Actually, let's head to Troyes, because you were saying in the first half that Marseille had a lot of opportunities but could not get a shot on target. Have they now changed that situation?
To be honest, it's a rather similar story to the first half. It is all Marseille. However, Troyes are holding on by the skin of their teeth.
Sorry, Ed, to cut across you, but there's been a goal at Guingamp, and Guingamp have equalised. I warned about it in the half-time break, and again, very disappointing defending from Romain Genevois. It looks like Jimmy Briand has got that goal, and it's one of the disappointing goals of the season. It's a bad attempt to get the ball by Ricardo Pereira off Bliss, and Briand goes in, and actually it's really disappointing. It takes a deflection off Romain Genevois from a Nice point of view, and it sort of trickles into the back of the net. More bad news for Nice, but another potential opening for Saint-Etienne if they can get their act together against Lille.
A brilliant save here from in the Rennes-Bastia game. Kamil Grosicki was in through on goal, and the Bastia keeper came out and made a brilliant stop at the feet of Grosicki to keep the score at 2-0.
And just as you mentioned, Nice going level again with Guingamp, Montpellier seem to have finally woken up in this game against Monaco. The chance for Casimir Ninga, 20 yards out. He does excellently to turn a couple of defenders and get a shot away. It's comfortably saved in the end by Daniel Subasic to his right, and the corner just came in, has just been cleared comfortably by Monaco. But Montpellier coming into this game, if Nice can really get their act together against Guingamp, then they could still be interested in that Champions League place.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Nathan, but there's a penalty at Reims.
Go ahead.
Going to the home side.
This is incredible.
Charbonnet taken out by Umtiti. Umtiti receives a yellow card, and it's going to be, I think it's Oniangu to take. Goal, 4-0 Reims.
That is unbelievable.
Call me Nostradamus if you like. Ras 4-0. Who would have predicted this? A real thumping from the club. I mean, there was a few changes for Lyon tonight in just getting some players fit, possibly, and leaving some out, giving the likes of you wouldn't call Fekir a replacement really most nights, and Kemen is a player with a lot of potential, but they seem to have fallen asleep at the wrong time, at least for Toulouse and Gazalek, who now really need to dig deep and find a result, because Reims are really coasting in that one.
I have to say,
who scored that penalty, by the way. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Gazalek, they are certainly piling on the pressure, but they seriously lack the cutting edge. They're trying to play the right balls. However, they do not seem to be able to actually stop them through the spaces. Lorient, a combination of good Lorient defending and poor technical ability from some of the Gazalek players, meaning that it's still 1-0 here. However, Gazalek are certainly showing intention. They certainly want to stay up in Ligue 1.
So let's just do a quick recap there. As it stands, Toulouse and Gazalek Ajaccio are going down. Both are losing at the moment and are on 37 points. Reims have shocked everybody, and they are currently beating Lyon 4-0. They would stay up as it currently stands on 39 points. As for Europe, Monaco are beating Montpellier. That would put Monaco in the final Champions League spot. In fact, Monaco only need to score 17 more goals, or Reims need to score 17 more goals, and Monaco would take second place from Lyon on goal difference, which would then mean automatic qualification for Monaco as it stands. And then Nice are going to get that fourth placed finish as it stands Europa League automatically, because Saint-Etienne are losing to Lille in the other game that concerns the Europa League, and as it stands Lille would get that final Europa League spot and not Saint-Etienne. So that is the situation as it currently stands here in Ligue 1.
And what a crazy one it really is. And with plenty of time to go, I don't know. Could there be an enormous goal swing with the rate that Reims are scoring goals? You can never be quite certain in Ligue 1 football. Let's go back to Angers, Toulouse with you, Paul. It's a desperate situation for Toulouse, knowing that a win will definitely guarantee safety. How are they doing now?
They've actually reacted really well in the last 5 minutes or so. There's been one big chance in particular. It's that man Braithwaite. He's actually had a really good second half so far, and he pulled it back to the second half substitute Akpro, who really should have scored, but it was a good save in the end by the goalkeeper, and they scrambled it away, did Angers. But Toulouse have reacted very well, and I can see them equalising.
Just to mention a game that we've not really touched upon this evening for too much, the Caen-Bordeaux game. As I mentioned at half-time, it's been pretty boring, really, I think, to be completely descriptive of what's happening. Bordeaux are pushed a little bit more in the second half, but there's no real urgency in either team's play at the moment, other than that quick counter-attack that led to the penalty for Caen. Looks like they're already on the beach here.
Just a bit of breaking news, slightly away from the pitch at the moment. It looks like Bernardo Silva injured himself in training either this morning or yesterday, and the reports coming out of Portugal are that he will now miss Euro 2016, which would be an enormous blow for Portugal, and hopefully he will be fit again at the beginning of next.
There's been a goal here in the Marseille-Troyes game. Stephen Fletcher has just smashed home a goal on his left foot, straight past the Troyes keeper. Brilliant bit of skill. I'm not sure who that Marseille player was, beating two defenders. Oh no, it was Bouna Sarr, who's just come on as a substitute. Brilliant bit of skill, slotting through Fletcher to smash home a goal. 1-1 here in Troyes.
There's a goal in Angers, and it's gone to the away side to lose. The back in it. I mentioned there's a good chance of them equalising, and it's that man, Wissam Ben Yedder, the real talisman up front, and he's just slotted it past the goalkeeper with unerring precision. Fantastic.
That is enormous, because, as we have said before, if Toulouse can now go and win that game, they will stay up, and despite Reims' fantastic result as it currently stands against Lyon 4-0, it wouldn't matter, because Toulouse started the day on one more point than Reims. So that could now really trigger something in that fight for the relegation. Ed, we've just been at that Troyes-Marseille game. What can you tell us about the other game that you're looking at, particularly Rennes-Bastia? Are Rennes looking like they might do something here to try and get back in this game, losing 2-0? Is Dembele going to do something to finish it off? Sorry, I'm just going to have to cut off myself there, because Nice have scored against Guingamp. Nice are back in front, thanks to Alassane Plea. The ball comes in, it's a very simple cross, I believe, from Ricardo Pereira, and Plea hits it almost on the full volley. It's just between the full and half volley, and Nice are back in front. So it might not matter, but it certainly assures them, should Saint-Etienne manage to get back into that game against Lille, of a automatic place for Europa League without having to go through an earlier qualifying round at the very least.
And it's all happening as it tends to be in Liga. More, I wouldn't say tends to be in Liga football, but I'm glad it is this evening at least. Paul, let's go back to that Reims game, and it's been the surprise result really of the round so far. Do Lyon look like at all trying to get back into the game, or is this one absolutely sewn up?
This is 100% a win for Reims. Lyon, they're passing the ball around the back, no penetration, nothing particularly troubling for Reims. They were just sitting behind the ball, they're waiting for their opportunity to counter-attack. And I wouldn't say the goals necessarily finished for the night, but I'd say the home side looked more likely. I'm
just seeing a dangerous free kick coming here from Montpellier, and it's quite easily cleared from the Monaco defence. Again, Monaco literally, from that free kick, as soon as it kicked out, we've waited about 20 seconds and no Monaco player has even ventured over the halfway line after that ball's cleared. That tells you exactly Monaco's game plan for this second half. It's sit back and hold on to this lead. We know that Nice will hope that Montpellier can do something to get back into this game and eventually break that hold, but it's not looking likely.
Just a bit of an emotional moment to tell you about at Guingamp. Thibaut Giresse has come on to replace, I believe it was Mevlut Erding. Thibaut Giresse will be leaving Guingamp at the end of the season. He's been an absolute stalwart for the club. And I tell you what, the atmosphere here in the Rue de Rue is now extremely emotional. What a man, and it's nice to see him get half an hour as an appropriate send-off for his services. Ed, I cut myself off when I was trying to get to you for an update on the Rennes-Bastia game. What's going on over there?
It is Rennes seemingly coming forward with a lot of intent, and Bastia are happy to soak up the pressure and then hit them on the break. Bastia just had a good opportunity there that didn't quite work out for them, but certainly Rennes are giving it a good go to try and bring themselves back from this 2-goal deficit that they find themselves in at the moment. But no, as I say, Bastia are happy to soak up the pressure and then break very, very quickly.
I think there's been a goal, Paul.
I have another goal. About a minute ago I said there was no hope of Lyon scoring, and they've gone and done it. They've scored. It's Cornet with the goal. Lacazette played Fekir through. Fekir with a cross-come shot, saved by the goalkeeper and tapped home by the youngster Cornet.
Not that it really matters, but maybe we could get an incredible comeback from...
There's another goal in my other game, and this is quite a damning goal. Angers have retaken the lead against Toulouse. It's 2-1, and hope is possibly lost now for Toulouse with time running out.
Tell us.
I'm just waiting for a replay. It looks like Toulouse have been hit on the break. Overcommitted men. It's a screamer again. It's another stunning goal. I'm not sure who it is.
Saïd Benrahma, the loanee from OGC Nice. I tell you what, he hasn't played much since he's been on loan at Angers, but he does come up with the odd screamer. I remember he scored a fantastic one against Rennes when he was still playing for Nice as well. So that could be a nail in the coffin for Pascal Dupraz men. I think if anybody is going to launch a late comeback, it might be Toulouse with the character they've shown. Let's go to the other side of the table and other things at the moment. Let's check in with you, Nathan. What's going on at Monaco-Montpellier? Is there a chance, anything for Montpellier at the moment?
Nothing as of late. Again, it's just Montpellier having the majority of the possession. They're trying to find gaps in this Monaco defence, but you can see straight away they have a bank of 4 with a defensive midfielder and then another bank of 4. So it's almost an impenetrable wall for the Montpellier to try and find through. They're trying to pick their way through it as we speak, and they're just finding tackle after tackle. They do have a free kick now just outside the box, but it does not look likely that they can get through this. They will need to sneak, I think, a quick goal to worry Monaco. They need to speed up their play a little bit and go from there. Who was the one that just...
That was me. I'm in the Toulouse game, and a really clever free kick. I was expecting a strike to come in, and they've played it into the box, unmarked. Trejo, one touch out his feet, smashes it across the goal, and nobody could get a touch. It really should have been the equaliser for Toulouse.
Ed, let's go to that game that hasn't seen a goal in terms of the relegation battle in the second half. Lorient against Gazélec Ajaccio. You said that the Corsican side was really coming at Lorient in the second half, but they're lacking the quality to finish. Has Boutaïb not got his scoring boots on at the moment?
Seemingly not, no, and Jouffre has just gone off injured. I'm not sure if he's going to come back on for Lorient. But, as I say that, Gazélec are now breaking. There's a good opportunity starting here. But there is a speculative long-range effort that goes well wide of the right-hand post. I have to say, as it carries on, I am backing Lorient more and more, which is going against my pre-match expectation of maybe Gazélec sneaking it. But I will go back on my word and think that Lorient are probably going to see this one out. Gazélec have been fairly uninspired, I have to say.
If Yann Jouffre is coming off injured, that would be a terrible way for Jouffre to end his career with Lorient. He has announced earlier this week, of course, that he's leaving the club at the end of the season on a free transfer. Ed, does it look like he might get back on the pitch?
I think he's just come back on, yes, but he was clutching his right calf, but I think he's going to carry on.
2 chances in 2 different games very quickly here. First of all, at Saint-Etienne, Saint-Etienne have been improving in the last 10 minutes or so, and they had a penalty appeal as a shot hit Civelli in the box. It looks like it strikes his shoulder rather than his arm, but there is big claims from the club, but the referee turns away that appeal, and Caen almost scored a second against Bordeaux. A speculative cross wasn't claimed by the goalkeeper. It hit Delors, who was underneath him, and it's gone wide, unfortunately, for the forward.
I tell you what, Nathan, this game between Paris Saint-Germain and Nantes is becoming a bit of a playground affair. It really is fancy, fun football. The defenders are completely having a snooze on both ends because both attacks for Nantes and Paris Saint-Germain are just able to walk into the box, and Nantes just don't have that cutting edge to finish off their chances because they've had plenty of them. I'd say at least 10 half chances for Nantes. And at the Parc des Princes against Paris Saint-Germain, you really have to take some of those.
Paul, let's go back to the game against Reims and Lyon. Since the away side have scored, has there been a little bit of nervous tension in the ground?
There certainly has. Lyon have had a few chances in quick succession, and the fans have gone a bit quiet. You wouldn't expect that at 4-1 up with only 22 minutes remaining. But I'd say Reims in the driving seat. It's slowed down a little. Lots of niggly fouls, players going down injured, wasting a bit of time. And they're looking very professional at the minute to get the job done.
Oh, just very quickly, another chance here at Caen. A speculative effort, a lovely curled effort actually from Andy Delors from about 25 yards out. It's a wonderful strike, but it's cannoned off the bar. Really unlucky. The goalkeeper stood absolutely no chance. That would have been an excellent goal and really rubber stamped a mark on this game where Connor really in the ascendancy now.
Just an update from the Lorient game. Jouffre is indeed going off. I'm not sure if it was that injury that he picked up a few minutes ago or not, but he is going off and he's getting a very warm reception from the crowd, as you may be able to imagine. Everybody's on their feet, standing ovation. He's played well this evening, I have to say.
Nathan, I was just going to come to you for that Saint-Etienne Lille game we haven't heard much about. Of course, could have quite a few permutations for those Europe spots. Anything to report there?
Well, in the last 10 minutes, as I mentioned, that Saint-Etienne have been applying some pressure. They had a penalty appeal turned down correctly, although plenty of Lever's players were appealing for it. Lille just on the counter-attack now, and Lopez has dragged his shot wide. But Saint-Etienne is certainly building back into this game after a relatively poor first half, really, from their point of view. They're starting to create a little bit more. They had a corner a moment ago that gave Esric a free header, but he couldn't get it on target, and it was cleared quite easily. But there's certainly life in this game yet. Lille are starting to be the side defending and handing on. And literally, as I say that, they go on the counter after taking the ball off the defence, but it comes to nothing as he's hounded out. I think it was Sidibe who ventured forward, but nothing quite going on here. But let's go back to Angers-Toulouse.
Sorry, the Gazellette game, Shumbumbu almost had a brilliant opportunity. His first touch let him down, and the keeper came out quickly, but it was a cross in, and he chested it down, but just escaped him, and the keeper came and gathered. Stays 1-0 here in Lorient.
Yeah, let's go back to the Angers-Toulouse game, and just as they looked like they'd given themselves a lifeline, they got pegged back again. Paul, is Toulouse losing hope, or are they rallying to try and get back into this game again?
They're truly rallying. It's just been an unbelievable chance, and it's Braithwaite again down the left. He's had a fantastic second half. He's been heavily involved, as was mentioned, but he's gone past his man. He's crossed into the box, and an Angers defender facing his own goal. It's hit him on the back. He had no idea, and underside of the crossbar, and it bounced out. Cruel for Toulouse, but there's more goals in this game because Angers also look a threat on the counter-attack.
Just a note on that Toulouse game, a bit of an awkward dynamic developing because Saïd Benrahma, the man who got Angers' second goal, is actually from Toulouse. So that is certainly must be a heart-and-mouth moment for the young lad, torn between whether he wants to see them go down or scoring and impressing for his club.
Yeah, and just to mention on that goal from Benrahma there, he came on literally about a minute before. I've been skipping through the multiplex occasionally, and literally just as they'd equalised, he came on, and with one of his first touches, he puts Angers back into the game. But let's talk about PSG Nantes again. Actually, let's go for Nice instead, Christian. They're 3-2 up now, and do they have the bit between their teeth again?
Yes, I think you can say that Nice are back in the ascendancy after an iffy sort of 40 minutes between the 20th and 60th minute where they really weren't in control. I mean, Romain Genevois has had to come in at the back to replace the injured Maxime Lemarchand, who got injured very badly actually last week. We wish him all the best. I think it's an ACL injury. So Romain Genevois has come in, and he's been at fault for both Guingamp goals. But Nice look like they're going to be okay here. They look like they should now really hold on.
Counter for Monaco. Chance. Second chance. Oh, I don't know how they've not scored there. Sorry for interrupting, Christian, but
no worries.
A very quick, poor defensive play by Monaco allows Helder Cost to get the ball. He plays to Ivan Cavallero, who takes on the goalkeeper. His first chance is blocked by Hilton. He tries to take on Hilton again. His left-footed shot is just wide of the post. It's a little bit of a difficult angle, to be fair with him, but two very, very good opportunities for Monaco to pull away from Montpellier.
But as I was saying, Guingamp are really throwing the kitchen sink at it. They're playing effectively four strikers. It's quite bizarre, and you never really know what's going to happen in this game. We've had 5 goals already. Why not one or two more? In the Paris Saint-Germain Nantes game, Gregory Van der Wiel has just been replaced by David Luiz. Now that could be his last ever performance for Paris Saint-Germain. Of course, his contract expires at the end of the season, and he's rumoured to be set to join AS Monaco. We'll see about that, but a nice warm applause for Van der Wiel, despite him not being a key player for Paris Saint-Germain in the last 2 seasons. Good to see the Paris public giving him a fair share of adoration.
Just a quick update here at Bordeaux Caen. It does seem like the Bordeaux interim manager has been sent from the field, as well as possibly a coach. There does seem to be a coach following him down the tunnel. I don't know quite what it was for the appeals, but Ulrich Rami is certainly heading down the tunnel, so they will have to play the rest of this game without a man on the touchline.
Let's go to Troyes again. Ed, we haven't been there for a while. You said Marseille were dominating. They got that equaliser thanks to Stephen Fletcher. Do you think they're going to get a winner?
Well, they're certainly knocking on the door. They've had a few very good opportunities. They're really exploiting that left wing of theirs. However, the game is opening up, and Troyes have had some good opportunities as well. It's not as one-sided as it was 20 minutes ago, I have to say. Troyes could well steal a winner in the dying embers of this game, I have to say.
Ed, and while we're with you, why don't we check in on Rennes, SC Bastia? Anything happening there? Just 15 minutes left as we go around the grounds here in Ligue 1.
Still 2-0, however. Bastia, as I said before, were absorbing the pressure, and they're still hitting them on the break. And as Rennes are committing more and more men forward, they're looking more and more vulnerable. And they have not had much cutting edge in front of goals. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bastia got a third here. And Rennes wouldn't score, because they really have lacked cutting edge up front this evening.
Just to quickly give a summarisation of the league as it stands, with about 15 minutes to go of the Ligue 1 season, Monaco will finish in the Champions League places as results stands. They just had one cleared off the line by Montpellier as well as we speak, and that will mean Nice, with their 3-2 result at the moment, staying in fourth. Lille winning at Saint-Etienne will see them go above them, and Reims, currently winning 4-1, will stay up at the expense of Toulouse and Gazélec Ajaccio. Another outtake of breath. Where was the close chance in that one?
In Toulouse, and Ben Yedder, half volley, right side of the box, great save by the goalkeeper, went for a corner which came to nothing. Toulouse are really pressing hard now.
And as they should, the last 15 minutes of their season to stay up, it will be an epic rise from where they were just about 4 or 5 weeks ago, where most people thought they might be doomed. But instead, it looks like Reims might be the team that has the resurrection on that final day to give them a chance. Christian, the Nice-Guingamp game's gone a little bit quiet in the last couple of minutes. It's slowed down a little since the GS left the field.
Not really, Nathan. To be honest with you, it's just as buoyant as it has been in the second half. Just a little bit less accuracy as those legs start to tire. There have been about 3 substitutions for Nice. We've seen Mathieu Bodmer come on. We've seen Valère Germain come off. This could be quite an emotional game for Nice as well, of course, with Claude Puel potentially leaving the club at the end of the season. Let's go to Ed there. Where's
really
the chance fallen?
There for Gazélec, but they somehow skied it from just outside the 6-yard box. I'm not sure who it was that did just sky it, but he really should have buried it. Both teams seem to be knocking on the door for scoring again, but no, skying from that range really is unacceptable, especially on a day like today where every goal matters. Sorry, the replay's not telling me which player it was that skied it. But no, first hit the post, rebound, and then skied it from there. Terrible, terrible miss. They really should have equalised that.
No worries. So, as I was saying, Claude Puel could be leaving Nice at the end of the season. His current contract is up next month, and he's refused to commit until the end of the season. There have been names branded about. Actually, Guingamp's manager, Jocelyn Gourvenec, is one of the individuals that Nice are understood to have talked to. So that creates also an interesting dynamic this evening. But looks like Nice will hold on here, although Guingamp have just gone close through Jimmy Briand from a corner. Nathan, we haven't checked in on Monaco-Montpellier. It looks like Monaco have had another good chance. Cavaliero hitting the post, I'm hearing.
Yes, and Monaco are catching Montpellier on the counter-attack at this moment. Again, it was Cavaliero. He hit the post just as he seemed to round up the keeper, and then the deflection off that post fell to Nabil Diarra. His effort was then cleared off the line. Monaco really applying a little bit of late pressure on Montpellier after they seem to be in the ascendancy, with Monaco dropping deep, but it looks like Monaco are really coasting into that Champions League.
Goal!
Go ahead.
Braithwaite, it's Martin Braithwaite. Would you believe it? He's made amends. The ball comes in off the right. He taps it home off the post, and Toulouse have it all. What a 10 minutes we're going to be in store for here.
Well. well. So 2-2. Toulouse have equalised through Martin Braithwaite. We are in for a very interesting final 10 minutes of the season, that's for sure, with Reims still winning 4-1. Paul, are they coasting to that simple victory now?
They've had a few more chances to extend the lead. Could have been 5-1, a couple of opportunities, but not much going on at either end, really. Lyon, not much of a threat at all. It's all on Toulouse.
So here we go now. Toulouse doing what we really hoped that they would do. Can Pascal Duprat's men come back from the death for the upteenth time this season to go and secure Ligue 1 status for next season? What are we looking at in Gazélec Ajaccio's game, Ed? Can they find something? It doesn't sound like it, but you never know. This is Ligue 1 after all, with just 10 minutes or so to go.
Well, Gazélec are just about to ping in a long-range free kick, but that goes straight to the keeper. They really are throwing the kitchen sink at it with little effect. I have to say, I would at this rate, I would rule out Gazélec as a team that's going to stay up. This evening, they haven't played like a League One team. They've been disappointing, I have to say.
A really, really good chance for Montpellier here at Monaco. They've finally...
I'm hearing there's been a goal at Angers. Am I wrong? I'm wrong.
There was a massive moment. There's been a massive moment. It's got a free kick on the edge of the box, but Ben Yedder's hauled down, and for me, it's in the box. It should have been a penalty to lose. The free kick's about to be taken. And it's flew in. You're right, Christian. It's free kick to lose. It's a stunning strike. And
it's Braithwaite.
Bodiger.
There's been a goal as well in the Rennes game.
Let's stay at Toulouse.
Yes, Toulouse. Yeah.
Unbelievable scenes here. Bodiger, number 23, is struck left-footed into the top corner, and unbelievable scene. The fans are going wild. I'm looking at my other game, Reims. I don't think they know. The fans are content over there, but Toulouse at the minute are staying up. Unbelievable.
You just had this feeling. That Pascal Duprat's men were going to have the last word, but there has been a chance, I believe, in the Marseille game. Ed, Stephen Fletcher has done a little bit something wrong there.
He's had a shocker. He's just missed a penalty. It was a stone wall penalty. He was brought down. Loads the keeper's left, but not good enough. It was too central, and the keeper had it covered all the way. But there's been a goal from Pedro Henrique in the game. Slid it coolly past the keeper on his left foot. 2-1 here. I think it'll be a very interesting thing. Rennes are really pushing for that equaliser.
Nathan, apparently there's been a big chance for Saint-Etienne.
And yes, there's just recently been a chance for them. They are on the attack at the moment, but they're really pushing for their chances. It was a ball through, and Lille's defensive line's been really solid. Sorry, I've been caught up in quite a bit of it, trying to remember exactly what happened. And it's been a difficult game for them. They've been pushing in the last couple of minutes. It was a chance for I believe it was Hamouma. I'm not 100% certain. He tried it. It was a comfortable save in the end for Enyama, but no, it's still 1-0 here, and it really, Lille in these final 10 minutes hanging on to what they have.
Well, look at that heart-stopping stuff here on the final day of Ligue 1. What an incredible turnaround of events for Toulouse at the moment. So as it stands, Toulouse are going to be in Ligue 1 next season. Reims, despite their fantastic lead over Lyon, will go down along with Gazélec Ajaccio, who are losing 1-0 at Lorient. As it stands for Europe, Monaco look to be coasting to a win which will guarantee them that final Champions League spot in third place on 65 points. Nice are beating Guingamp in an entertaining game at the Rue de Rue 3-2, and they will secure that fourth place spot which guarantees a place in the Europa League group stage. That final Europa League space, as it stands, goes to Lille, who are beating Saint-Etienne. Saint-Etienne, of course, before play began, were in the reckoning for the Europa League, and Galtier's men will certainly be disappointed if they throw this away. So let's go now again back to the game for Toulouse. Paul, what's the feeling over there? That must be an incredible turn of events. And is Duprat's heart still beating? That's what I want to know.
I think I actually seen Duprat do a knee slide when that goal went in. I think his trousers maybe a bit dirty. He couldn't control himself, and unbelievable game. And to lose, this would be the great escape for me, for the best for a long time. But Angers, they're coming forward now, seeking that equaliser. To lose, good nerves play a factor. They're looking pretty solid at the minute though, as we stand.
Nathan, any chance of Montpellier getting back in this game for Monaco and making the Champions League spot interesting?
Well, like I was mentioning just before, the glut of interesting goals down at the bottom of the table. They had a chance with Jonas Martin going down the left-hand side and playing it in to the central, and the striker, name escapes me at the moment, but he had a chance in that central area where you think a pullback should really be easy, but he really, poor effort, pulled wide. But again, it seems like Monaco really are the ones on top in this one. They're putting that bank of defence up, and they're starting to find chances on the counter-attack, and I think this one's really sewn up for them. But let's head back to Paul and talk about the game at Reims. Does it look like that news about the Toulouse game is fed through to the fans and the atmosphere in there and the play on the pitch?
I would certainly say so. It's all gone quiet. The game's gone very flat, and I think Reims now know, the supporters, the players, the management team alike, that it's all on Angers for them now. Really flat atmosphere, and this game does not matter anymore in the context.
Just coming to the Parc des Princes, a lovely chance for Zlatan Ibrahimovic after some caviar flicking from Javier Pastore. It's a volley just on the keeper's left, actually, and Zlatan can't put it on target. Cavani's also just put the ball in the back of the net, but he was offside from a Zlatan knockdown. Just 4 minutes of normal time to play here at the Parc des Princes. But I think the very fact that Zlatan Ibrahimovic has scored in his final game for Paris will be enough of a souvenir in a quite incredible spell at the Ligue 1 champions.
Just to quickly mention a chance that's just happened in Monaco, Wagner Love could have scored what would have been an absolutely wonderful goal. He picks the ball up in his own half, looks around and thinks that there's no players around him. So the slightly slow Brazilian forward decides to go on a little bit of a run. He takes on almost the entire Montpellier defence that allow him the freedom of the park, and he goes one-on-one, just drags the shot slightly wide of the left-hand post. It would have been an absolutely sensational goal had he scored. He's just been substituted. He's literally... they're almost having to drag him off. He looks like he's absolutely exhausted after that one run. It would have been a superb goal and would have really sealed the points for Monaco.
Ed, did you just wince there, or am I losing my mind after this Toulouse turnaround?
No, you did not imagine that. Gazelec almost just equalised. It was... Who was it? Sorry, I'm just looking at the replay now. It was... Oh, I'm not too sure. Oh, no, it was John Shibumbu, who has come up with a couple of good efforts this second half. He almost equalised from 6 yards out, but it was a difficult ball to control with it bouncing, coming in from the left-hand side. And he knocks it over the bar. It was a hard effort to try and control, but still close.
Well, just about 2 minutes to go in all the kickoffs in Ligue 1. I want to go back to you, Paul, on that big game at Angers against Toulouse. Does it look like Angers may get back into this game, or did Toulouse still in the ascendancy with that 3-2 lead?
To be honest, Nathan, I've given up trying to guess which way this game goes. Anything could happen. Angers are attacking. Toulouse, I thought they'd shut up shop, but they've still got Braithwaite and Ben Yedder up top, and they're looking to counter-attack. With 3 minutes of normal time remaining, I can see 3 or 4 minutes injury time. This is going to be an interesting 7 minutes to end League One.
Paul, let's stay with you. Take us through these final moments, frame by frame.
At the minute, Angers have the ball. There's been a turnover. Braithwaite's heading forward the ball. No, Angers have played back. But really, you've got to... Do Angers have the... what's the word for it? The incentive to go and get this goal? Obviously, they're safe. Their season's practically over. Do they want to spoil the party for Toulouse?
Sorry, but
Didn't
there
want
is
to help
someone else
France.
who is partying in Ligue 1 this evening, and it is that man, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It's now 4-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. I told you about a good bit of link-up play between Pastore and Ibrahimovic a couple of minutes ago. Well, it's those two again. Pastore with a lovely flicked cross in from the right-hand side, and it's the header from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. All of his teammates go to hug him. The Paris Saint-Germain flags are up in the air. The camera goes to the Eiffel Tower. I'm not sure why. It's maybe just a sort of beIN Sport type thing. But anyway, wonderful scenes for the man who deserves all the credit in the world from a PSG perspective. Nasser Al-Khalifi is on his feet, and that is the perfect send-off for Zlatan in his Ligue 1 career.
And you could say he's been Paris Saint-Germain's Eiffel Tower since his transfer to the club back in 2012. What
Very
a
good,
wonderful...
Nathan. Very good.
A great turn of phrase, I know. I'll pat myself on the back for that one. A great moment for the Swede, who's been terrific since he's joined the Ligue 1 club and really put them on the map in Europe. But as we enter the final couple of minutes, it's entering a stoppage time for a number of places. Paul, let's go back to that game at Reims. The players must look like out of their legs for the result they've put in, because they gave absolutely everything they could, at least, to stay up in Liga.
They have, and it's got to be a disappointment if you beat Lyon 4-1 on the final day of the season and actually end up going down. They've actually played quite well since Toulouse got that goal. They've had a few opportunities to extend the lead, but they, like us, know that it's all on Toulouse at the minute.
Sorry, Paul, I just want to come over to Paris Saint-Germain, where I'm not entirely sure whether the game is finished or not, but Ibrahimovic is effectively got tears in his eyes as his kids with two shirts, each wearing Paris Saint-Germain shirts. They've both come on the pitch. One says King on the back, one says Legend, because of course that turn of phrase he used to announce his departure was, I came to Paris Saint-Germain as a king, I left as a legend. I think he's actually being substituted off, and yet his kids came on for him. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I'm not sure if the game's over.
I've got an interesting update from Saint-Etienne and Lille. It seems like the referee has stopped the game early, or he's pausing the game because of the flares used in the ground. The ground is covered in a thin layer of smoke. It's almost like it's a very foggy day in Saint-Etienne. It's a very strange moment. The referee's pulled the ball up. The players are still on the pitch at this moment in time and resting, so it does seem like he's just called a pause for that final couple of minutes. But if you want to carry on describing the scenes...
Sorry, Nathan, back to Paris. The game's not over. His kids, I've never seen anything like this in my life. These kids have just come onto the pitch as he was being substituted off. And Joffredo, the referee, was very confused and not looking very happy about the whole situation. But Ibrahimovic has been subbed off in the 89th minute, and just warm hugs and cheers all around here in Paris. A fantastic send-off. And I tell you what, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has rewritten the playbook ever since he arrived at Paris Saint-Germain. And to have two kids walk on the pitch mid-match is just very Zlatan Ibrahimovic right until that last moment. In fact, his kids are now sitting next to him on the PSG subs bench. Anyway, let's see if we can get some late goals, late action anywhere around the grounds. Full time is approaching every single one. And at the moment, Toulouse have done the impossible, the unthinkable. Pascal Duprat has led them to Ligue 1 safety. Paul, let's go to you. Does it look like they're going to hold on now? There's just a minute or so left.
It does. We're into 3 minutes of injury time, a minute 20 seconds to go, and Toulouse are doing everything right. A very professional. Free kicks are going in the corner. Braithwaite in particular, he's holding it up fantastically well. And Angers, they've got a chance to send the ball forward now long. I'm looking across at my other screen, and Reims, the players have the heads in the hands. There's tears, there's headphones and ears of fans, and emotional scenes.
And it's all over here in Gazalec. Gazalec-Lorient game. Lorient have won 1-0. Gazalec were really... they got 4 corners on the bounce in the dying stages of that game, but Lorient held out, and Gazalec have lost 1-0. That is the end of their Ligue 1 reign so far.
Full time also at Paris Saint-Germain, where we're expecting a big party with the trophy being unveiled. Big hug from Michael de Zakarian from a lot of his non-players, of course. The manager's final match in charge of Les Canaries. René Girard will be taking over from him as Lucas and Marquinhos get ready to do a bit of Champion, mon frère. I believe it's also full-time, Nathan, is it not, in Monaco? And that confirms their Champions League place?
Yes, it confirms their champion. It was a really easy victory in the end for Monaco. Montpellier didn't really cause much of a threat in the end. It could have been 3 or 4 on another day had Wagner Love brought his shooting boots on. But it's a stutter to the line for them, really, and it does look like they've continued in Saint-Etienne, just to report you on that, although there's a pause for injury now in a bit of a sorrowy end of state to that game.
Some more full times to tell you about, Nathan. We've got the end of the game. Nice have beaten Guingamp 3-2 away from home. That confirms their 4th place and automatic qualification to the Europa League group stage for next season. A fantastic achievement for Les Aiglons. Caen have beaten Bordeaux at home 1-0 thanks to an Andy Delors penalty. Reims have also beaten Lyon 4-1, which is an incredible result, but it might mean nothing because I believe, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's full-time.
It's full-time.
In Angers. What an incredible turnaround, Paul. Talk us through those emotional moments on the pitch there.
It's unbelievable. The full-time whistle's gone. I think seconds before the whistle gone, the staff, a couple of fans got onto the pitch, and it's just unbelievable scenes. Bodiger, he's come off the bench.
I believe we've lost Paul there, unfortunately, at a very important moment. He's back.
And Toulouse, unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'm seeing the scenes myself. In the Marseille game, the Bastia game ended. Bastia won 2-1 against Rennes, and it's ended 1-1 here in Troyes. An excellent result from them to end their rather dismal campaign, I have to say. But no, a good result all round.
Well, with those full-time results pretty much flowing in at the moment, the big headline news is Toulouse remain in Ligue 1. They've managed to complete the great escape despite Reims winning 4-1 against Lyon on the final day. They've managed to come from behind twice to beat Angers 3-2 despite Martin Braithwaite missing a penalty. They stay in Ligue 1 while Reims and Gazélec Ajaccio are relegated to Ligue 2.
I think there's one more game still playing, Nathan. I think that's Saint-Etienne-Lille, as you were saying, a bit of a disruption over there. Of course, this game still matters because if Saint-Etienne can get an equaliser, then they will qualify for the Europa League. If not, then Lille, as it currently stands, are going to be in the Europa League qualifying round next season. Anything there to report, Nathan?
There's still plenty of flares going off. There's a big one in the stand that Saint-Etienne are attacking in, and Rouffier's come up for this corner. 6 minutes has been played as added on of the 4 originally given. The flares started at the very start of that extra time. Then there was an injury that delayed for another good 2 minutes. Rouffier's even gone for the attack that corner, but with his hand, which he's not allowed to do in the opposition box if he hasn't quite realised where he is. But it does seem that I don't understand why the referee's simply not just called this game off. And I believe he's just about to. But it does seem strange that the Saint-Etienne fans seem to have allowed this game to continue with their own antics off the field. There's still little arguments with the referees and the players. It's a really ill-tempered end to what has been a really interesting attacking game at points when both sides really got into it after Adair's goal.
Let's go back to Guingamp now, where we've seen some emotional scenes with Hatem Ben Arfa and the travelling Nice support. Lovely sort of acknowledgement from Ben Arfa. There's no doubt that this club has completely transformed his career. Where he'll be next season, nobody knows, but an incredible season for Hatem Ben Arfa. And an incredible season for OGC Nice, who have confirmed their Europa League status next season. Ed, what's the atmosphere like in Lorient? Gazélec never really seemed to be at the races today. And is there some huge disappointment right now at the Moustois?
Yeah, you can't argue with their commitment. They were certainly up for it. They started slowly, but they really started to get going in. By the end of the first half and throughout the second half. However, that cutting edge just wasn't there, and really that's I think at times the story of their season, and that is why they will be playing Ligue 2 next season. The Ajaccio players all seem absolutely heartbroken, whereas the Lorient players are all very chuffed after a good night's work from them.
Paul, a bit of a weird atmosphere probably in Reims at the moment. They could probably put in one of their best performances of the season, some fantastic goals, especially from Turan, but it doesn't mean anything.
How do you get yourself back up from this one? I mean, you beat Lyon 4-1, who of course beat Monaco 6-1 last time out, and you haven't got the reward you deserve, arguably. It's indescribable, really, and I feel for the players and the fans alike. The pictures are going around now. There's tears, there's hugs, everything. The Lyon players, to be fair, are going around. The Reims players who are sat on the floor and they're trying to pick them up, but there's no picking this up. It's a horrible feeling for them and an undeserved one.
So let's head to Nathan now for a final roundup of those scores. All the games in Ligue 1 this season are done and dusted.
Yes, and the Saint-Etienne game, Lille game has just about finished now that after those disruptions. So let's go through the results of the evening. And first off, the game at Angers and Toulouse, which finished 3-2 to the away side. Goals from Billy Keke Fonfon and Saïd Benrahma had given Angers a 2-1 lead, with Wissam Ben Yedder scoring in between, despite a Martin Braithwaite miss penalty. He scored the equaliser to make it 2-2, and Yann Bourdier scored a free kick that keeps Toulouse in Ligue 1. Caen won 1-0 against Bordeaux thanks to that Andy Delors penalty, and Nice won 3-2 at Guingamp. That's Alisson Player putting the away side ahead before Mevlut Erding scored an equaliser for Guingamp. Jean-Michel Seri scored just before half-time to give the away side the lead again, before they were pegged back again, with a goal that's been gifted as a Romain Genevois own goal, before Alisson Player scored his second of the game to give Nice a victory that keeps them in fourth, but unfortunately means they miss out on Champions League football. Lorient won 1-0 against Gazalec Ajaccio, which relegates the latter team thanks to a Benjamin Makanjo goal. Unfortunately, any result for Gazalec this evening would have still seen them relegated, thanks to the result for Toulouse. Paris Saint-Germain completed their excellent season, finishing on 96 points thanks to a double from Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who played his final game in the Parc des Princes. Goals from Brazilians Lucas Moura and Marquinhos gave them a comfortable victory. Monaco confirmed their status in the Champions League next season with a 2-0 victory against Montpellier. Ivan Caballero and a Fabinho penalty in the first half gave them the 3 points. Reims won 4-1, surprisingly, against Lyon, but that result still saw them relegated from Ligue 1. Asiamondi, Diego Atia Turan and Grejon Kie penalty gave them a comfortable 4-1 lead before Maxwell Cornet scored for the visitors late on. Bastia won 2-1 against Rennes in a game that mattered very little to either side in the end. 2 Francois Camano goals gave them the win, despite Pedro Henrique scoring late on. Lille won 1-0 against Saint-Etienne, which means they move into the Europa League space in 5th, thanks to that Eder penalty. I can confirm that I have now witnessed he pulled out that glove to do his famous Michael Jackson celebration. And finally, Troyes ended their sole season in Ligue 1 with a 1-1 draw against Marseille. That saw Fabien Camus put the hosts ahead before Stephen Fletcher scored, then missed a penalty late on that would have given Marseille a much needed win after a poor season. So, Christian, if you want to go through the table as it finished this season in Liga.
Absolutely, Nathan. Paris Saint-Germain have won Ligue 1 2015-2016 by 31 points on 96, as you've mentioned, with an incredible goal difference of 83. Lyon have finished second after a 6-1 victory over Monaco last weekend, assured them of automatic Champions League qualification. Monaco, thanks to their win tonight against Montpellier, come in third, level on points with Lyon, but with a much inferior goal difference. Nice take that fourth spot and Europa League automatic qualification on 63 points. Lille, having beaten Saint-Etienne tonight in a crucial face-off for the Europa League final spot, has gone to Lille thanks to that 1-0 win that they managed at the Stade Geoffroy Guichard. Eder with the goal and the Michael Jackson celebration. So therefore, Saint-Etienne finished sixth and missed out on that Europa League final spot. Christophe Galtier will be very disappointed with that end of the season and with that result, and maybe that will force him to question his long-term future at the club. They finished 2 points behind Lille on 58. Caen have finished 7th, which is a fantastic result for them this season, considering the financials available to them at the beginning of the season. Ronnie Rodelin and Andy Delors, the individuals who shone this season for them going forward, and Damien da Silva at the back as well, ensuring that they have one of their best ever finishes in Ligue 1 history with 54 points. Rennes, having been in the conversation for Europe in the last 2 months or so, have dropped all the way down to 8th after losing to SC Bastia at home tonight. They finished with 52 points behind Caen, with a better goal difference, but still 2 points behind them. Angers, the newly promoted side, and in fact the only newly promoted side this season to be remaining in Ligue 1 for another campaign, they finished 9th on 50 points despite losing at home so dramatically to Toulouse tonight. SC Bastia make up the top 10 in 10th spot after that win against Rennes, having been in the relegation zone as recently as January, or in and around it at least. A fantastic change around in fortunes from Cisolini having taken over from Printemps, who was sacked at the turn of the year. Bordeaux have had a very unremarkable season under Willy Sagnol and then Ulrich Rame, who made the results slightly better, admittedly. They finished 11th on level points with SC Bastia, 50 points as well, but with a worse goal difference. Montpellier's loss to AS Monaco still allows them to finish 12th. Frederick Hans coming in for Roland Corbis, who left in December, and he has managed to secure them a mid-table finish, which will allow them to have something to build on next season. Marseille, the side that nobody expected to be in the bottom half of the table come the beginning of the season, the side that nearly won Ligue 1 last season, are 13th. A terrible season for OM, for France's #1 supported club. Michel, formerly of Olympiacos, came in to replace Bielsa, who dramatically quit after the first game of this season, and he didn't manage to do anything fantastic at all for the club. He has left, and Franck Passy, the interim manager, has dealt with the last 4 or 5 fixtures. Marseille have a lot to deal with, especially considering the club is for sale, and also considering they need to find yet another new manager in the off-season. Nantes finished 14th after being thumped by Paris Saint-Germain 4-0 this evening. Michel Dezacarian has quit the club after his contract expired. The new manager for Nantes starting from next season will be former Montpellier Ligue 1 title winner René Girard. In 15th, Lorient finished, having had a terrible end to the season, which saw them lose 8 out of 10 of their last games. I believe so. I'll need to check that, but certainly a very disappointing end to the season for them under Sylvain Ripoll. But it looks like Ripoll will be still in the driving seat when next season begins. 16th spot, Guingamp. Jocelyn Gourvenec manages to pull off another miracle for yet another season by keeping the small Brittany side alive and awake in Ligue 1. It looks like he's considering his future at the moment. But whatever happens between Gourvenec and Guingamp, there is no doubt that Guingamp owe Gourvenec a hell of a lot for keeping them up with the financial strength or lack of financial strength that they currently have from season to season. And in 17th spot is a team we've talked about a lot. The team that have fought off relegation, the team that have done the impossible, the team that appointed Pascal Duprat, the relegation specialist, to take over from a Dominique Arribagé, who had his side in 19th for so long throughout the season, who had his side in the relegation zone for, I believe, 6 or 7 months, up until last weekend when Toulouse first were able to exit it. Having gone behind twice against Angers tonight, Toulouse have shown that that fighting spirit has lasted the course, has survived right until the final minute, and it is Toulouse who will be playing in Ligue 1 next season, and not Reims on 39 points, who get relegated despite a fantastic performance against Lyon tonight, winning 4-1, but it wasn't enough. And a strange decision to sack Olivier Guingamp 4 games before the end of the season might have cost Reims so dearly. And Jean-Pierre Caillot, the chairman, will have a lot of thinking to do, because this club financially is not particularly well suited to an immediate relegation to Ligue 2. In 19th place is Minno's Gazélec Ajaccio, finishing on 37 points. This is a side who really had nobody rooting for them at the beginning of the season, having secured back-to-back promotions from National and then Ligue 2 in the course of 2 years. Unfortunately for Thierry Laurie's men, it'll be back to Ligue 2 for them, and we'll see how many of their key players they can keep next season. And bottom of the table, rounding off this Ligue 1 campaign, is Estac 3, newly promoted side who have changed managers not once but twice this season. They finish on 18 points, one of the worst totals in Ligue 1 history. That is Ligue 1 in 2015-2016. It's been a ride. There have been surprises. There have been fightbacks. And there has even been some good football, Nathan, in this season. That is Ligue 1 2015-2016. I give it to you to round this broadcast off.
I just want to catch my breath for a moment. I think we all do. But what a terrific end to the season, as we all expected. Many wrote off Ligue 1 with just being a Paris Saint-Germain and everyone else. But I think tonight just proved just how much excitement any football league can have. And what a final day at the bottom of the table. Reims made me look like I was a clever man, but unfortunately, Toulouse, again, like to prove me wrong, unfortunately. But my thanks to you, Christian, to you also, Paul and Ed, for joining us this evening for this Liga special. Thanks to everyone listening at home as well. I hope you've enjoyed this 2 hours of mayhem that has finished the Liga season. We will hopefully see you again. Might attempt this again sometime in the future, but please do tune in to our podcast on Monday evening at 8 o'clock live again on YouTube or on your subscriptions through iTunes or SoundCloud. We will be talking about the GFFN awards as well as summing up this crazy, crazy final day of the season. A bientôt and goodbye.